I already went like
this. Hello and welcome back to SARS Football Corner. Welcome back to another live stream, another show, another video on the channel. Big ups to everybody is tuned in nice and early. Big ups to everybody is watching on the replay. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Sorry we're late, people. Fraudulence is basically what I'm going to put it down to. But listen, we are back, guys, with another episode of the Koora pod. And guys, I'll be real. Yeah, I'll be so real. I'm looking forward to getting a load of apologies this stream from most of these frauds because
I am sorry, Sad.
No, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Don't smile now and start saying I'm sorry and all of this and putting fingers up. No. We need to savor the moment, bro, because you lot don't do this much. You know what I mean? Who's the only other person? Sammy? Did you say
Yes.
we were gonna win? Exactly, big up to you. But certain other frauds need to apologize because they said to me, "Sir, that's pure hopium. You're completely just going at this. You're just thinking with your ass. This and this and that. If we win, it's a miracle. No chance, by the way. Yeah, or barely any.
You know what? I'm gonna take that back. I take my sorry back. You predicted a 3-0. MashaAllah.
No. But
MashaAllah.
the thing is, no. Hold on. It's not about predicting a 3-0. Forget about the 3-0 because the 3-0 is remarkable. But what we need to discuss is why I predicted a 1-0 and I was laughed at. I predicted a 1-0 win. I predicted a win for my team at the home ground, and
There's the reason for that.
Anyway, listen, guys, we are going to be speaking about the almighty game against Real Madrid. European heritage, Champions League heritage. Slap them up, bro. We slapped them up, bro.
Yeah, man. Wow.
Do you know what I mean? It was something magnifique, bro. Hang it in the Louvre, bro. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's just something that only certain teams can do in this day and age. We're also going to be discussing Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk signing new contracts for Liverpool, so they're going to be staying. And we're going to be discussing Vinay. I forgot what his first surname was.
Venkatesham.
I don't give a shit.
Unai.
Vinay is all we're going to call him.
Not Unai Emery Souls. We're talking about Vinay Venkatesham.
We're going to call him Vinay for this. Well, I'm going to call him Vinay. Obviously, they're going to say the full name. But Vinay going to Spurs. I mean, brother, another thing that's magnifique. And we're also going to be doing our weekend predictions and going over the predictions. And what because I don't think we did it last time. Did we? We didn't go over this, did we, Ash?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, so we're gonna go over the predictions for last week and obviously do the prediction show for this week. But listen, we are here, man. We are here to discuss. So big up to you guys. Obviously, Lutfan is saying to read his comment. Don't be a coward and read my comment. I rewatched Arsenal versus Madrid for 1 billion. Well, you didn't do it 1 billion times because you still be there watching it. Odegaard still ghosting even when Saka come back. Come on, Sard. 5-round MMA. Share your location. You are Odeghost lawyer. Listen, man, Lutfen, man. Listen, at the end of the day, I know that you're hating on. I know that you're being rather objective on a.
He's not wrong, man.
You're being objective on and giving your criticism against Odegaard. For me, I understand that. At the end of the day, this season has not been his season, and he has given me at least a credit in the bank to be able to, in regards to good performances, for me to at least give him, okay, he's had this season bad, let's see what he does next season. Like, let's not just throw in the towel and say, okay, he's gone. You know what I mean? But anyway, guys, Arsenal beat Real Madrid 3-0 at the Ems.
No. What? I can't lie. What?
Shut your mouth.
No, bro, because you're taking 60 seconds to finish a sentence.
You were chatting was on Monday, broski. So don't even give us all of this and all of that, bro. Yeah. These two man over here, yeah. And T when he gets here. These man said we had no chance. Yeah.
I'll stand on that. I'll stand on the fact that we had no chance.
Do we have chance now?
Yes, but this is the point that I'm making. No fan that said we would win the game deserves any sort of apology or anything.
Why?
I'll explain to you why. Because when you look at an upcoming game that is coming up, you base your opinions on whether you think we will win or lose on a multitude of factors. Someone who's deluded will forget all other factors and go, I think we're going to beat Real Madrid 3-0, like Ty did. And everyone called him deluded for it because his 3-0 prediction didn't come from any logic or performances or previous performances or anything. Any logical fan or any prediction table or anyone that knows football would look at that game and gone, cool. You have Real Madrid, who are the current UCL champions. They perform better than us. They have a better team than us, a better manager than us, better players than us, a better squad than us, and they've been and their recent form has been better than ours. Okay, so based on all of those factors, and we've just lost our best defender, and we have two or three fit attackers, and one DM playing striker. There is no logical reason for any fan to predict an Arsenal win other than hopium. And us playing at the Emirates.
It wasn't hopium.
I agree.
It wasn't hopium.
Wait. Let me. Can I land?
You're waffling. You're waffling. I'm like.
No. Let me land. Hopium and us playing at the Emirates. Other than that, there is no logical argument for you saying we would beat Real Madrid. There's no logical argument, Ash.
Okay.
I agree.
No, I disagree. I completely disagree.
Based on what? Give me one reason why you thought we beat Real Madrid.
I told you we will win against Real Madrid.
Why?
I said 2-1. Okay.
Why?
Because we as a squad, as a bulk of a team, and the way we play football is different. We play as a team. Real Madrid is playing with individual brilliance.
Not according to stats. Not according to stats, by the way.
Well, according to stats, this is what I've seen Real Madrid all season long. They have to have a Vinny Junior moment.
But Atletico Madrid play like a team. How come they lose to Real Madrid? Every team that plays against Real Madrid plays like a team. They still lose, right?
You know what they say, Ash. Every dog has his day, and this is the day where Mbappe and Vinny Junior and Bellingham were shit. They were absolutely.
No, but that's the point.
Shit.
That's the point. That's the point,
shit.
Sami.
So I said we're gonna win 2-1. This is my prediction. Here, go back to the video. I said we need to win.
I remember.
We're gonna win 2-1, and then I said we need to not lose in the Bernabeu. This is what I said. I predicted a draw in the Bernabeu. This is why I said we're gonna go over with this very small fine margin. 3-0, blown me away. Nobody expected 3-0. I agree with Souls in that part. Nobody can predict that 3-0. Nobody on earth.
Sorry, Sammy. I'm sorry, but Sammy, I'm sorry. Yes. Every single again, to go back to the point, there is no reason like anything you say as to what we have that Real Madrid don't for why you thought we would beat them even 1-0 or 2-1. They are better than us at every single.
By the way, Souls, if you go to any betting website or any betting app you should go to, you will see there's a huge percentage for Arsenal to win. Like 56.
Yeah, but that's because. But that's
right. Why at the Emirates?
So why is it that way? At the Emirates.
I'll explain. I can explain that because because that goes based on what people are selecting. A lot of these people who are normal people like me, you,
they're all hopium and copium.
No. It's not about all hopium and copium. Look, the reality is, guys, I'd never look at odds, to be honest, because there's only 2 teams playing. So
it's with the recent form and the recent form, Madrid. They were
no, but our recent form isn't great either. The reason why I agree with Souls is, if let's say you told me, forget this season, because this season City have been crap. So let's forget City. But if last season you told me, I think for the first time in 10 years or however long it was, Arsenal are going to beat Man City that season. You can give me logical reasons why. Because you can say Arsenal the season before were really close. They were playing really well. Their defense has gotten better. They've added Rice, who's made their team a lot better. Raya has obviously made their team better. Maybe forget Kai Havertz, because Kai Havertz was bomb at that time. And City were up and down. So if someone said last season, I can give logical reasons why Arsenal beat City, which we did. We beat them 1-0. That would have made sense, right? Because you could then say this logic.
This is where you can't apply this logic, Ash. You're talking about a league here. You're talking about the Premier
League. No. I'm giving you an example. Okay, so let's now move to Champions League.
Okay, tell me Champions League. How is Arsenal? How is Madrid in this season? Don't tell me about the last 100 years.
Yeah. But the reality is, if Madrid, I know Madrid played bad in the group stage and stuff like that, but this isn't the first time. The one they won the Champions League a couple of years ago, they lost to Sheriff something. I can't remember the team's name. They lost to Sheriff something 2-1, and then they went on to win the Champions League anyways. The group stage for me is not really a strong indicator. When I saw them perform against Man City and beat them 6-3, I know Man City are not great, but 6-3 is still mental. And then knock out Atletico Madrid, who a lot of people said probably Atletico Madrid might knock them out. That group stage now form has to go out the window. So when I'm saying I can beat Real Madrid, and I told this to Sad in the same stream, if you guys remember, if we were in the form of last season, I would have said, yes, I think we have a chance. Because I can then look at, I know Madrid are the best team in the world, or one of the best teams in the world, but last season we were playing like one of the best teams in the world anyways. Which is why when we came up against Bayern, even though I predicted Bayern to knock us out, I still said we have a chance. Because the reality is, I know Bayern is Bayern. I know they have a better team than us.
And more we didn't get spanked against Bayern Munich. I mean, it was fine margin.
We didn't. Yeah, exactly. We didn't. Exactly. Okay. But the reason why I thought we would knock them out, the reason I thought we had a chance to knock them out, and I can give you logical reasons why, is because we were in top form. We were playing amazing. We made it past the round of 16 for the first time. Bayern were struggling a little bit in the league as well. You cannot apply that same logic this season to Real Madrid.
Who said it right?
But you know why I can't?
You know who said it right? There's somebody who said it right, and I emphasize the same message, that this Arteta and his way of playing football with Arsenal is built for knockout stages tournament and not built for a league.
But then why haven't we won any knockout tournament then? Why do we get knocked out of them quite early?
Unfortunately, he realized very late on how to tactically outplay the other coaches, and we always say that he's one-dimensional. Me and Sad always argue about that. Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. So then, Sami, what made you think, given that he's been making that mistake every single time up until this season when we got knocked out to Newcastle, we got knocked out in the FA Cup to United from our first game, what made you think The Real Madrid game is the game he's gonna learn.
No, I never knew. That
Exactly. So that's why when
because
Sol says,
he's a young coach and he's doing stupid mistakes across the season, across the past 5 years, and he's still learning.
yeah,
And
that's why Sol's is saying, it's not illogical for a fan to say Madrid will knock us out and we don't have that good of a chance. You get what I mean? And by the way, I asked Saad last time, if you guys remember, I told Saad, I want to believe. Give me hope. Can you tell me logical reasons why I should believe? No, you didn't.
I told him, Uqsimu billah, on the Holy Quran, I told you, you bum.
What?
Yeah. And
What
then,
did you tell me?
This is what happened. When I told him the reasons, he laughed it off and said it's copium.
What were the reasons? Remind me again. Maybe I forgot.
The reasoning was, if you look at, regardless of our bad form, regardless on how we performed in the Premier League, whenever we've come to the Champions League, it's always been competitive and we always played to a higher level than what we were playing.
And I debunked that, right?
League. No, you didn't.
I did, because I told you we played against Inter Milan away from home, who are nowhere near as good as Madrid, and we didn't play that well. We played against
we dominated the game. We dominated the game in that game against Inter
by
Milan.
design.
We dominated the game
By design.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever you want to say, but
Bayern Munich had 75% possession against them.
We dominated the game, yeah, but I don't know where Souls is gone. This guy's just disappearing.
Connection issues, I think. Anyways, continue.
I don't know. Listen, we dominated the game. The only thing that hurt us was that final finish. That final finish was the only thing that hurt us. But then again, if you go up against PSG, who their midfield is very good, we still dominated their midfield. And don't even give me this whole bullshit about, but look at Ousmane Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. Bro, that has nothing to do with the midfield, because he still dominated their midfield. We still played very well in other games in the Champions League. Sporting, who were giving people trouble, we knocked them out freaking 5-1, slapped them up. PSV, no matter what people want to say, PSV were doing very good up until this moment.
Yeah, they were.
And we slapped them up 7-1. People want to sit here and act like it was completely out of the realm of possibility for us to predict a win. Like they want to act like there was no factor at all.
To be fair,
Real Madrid, there was, because we just one sec. Let me just land, Souls.
No, I was gonna agree with you. I was gonna big you up in that case, because last time when you mentioned this argument, you didn't bring Sporting Lisbon into the picture. But now that I think about it, Sporting Lisbon was away from home. They had just slapped up City. They were doing well. So I get your logic there. It does make sense. The Inter Milan game, which is the biggest game of the league that we played, I don't think we played well in that game. I actually think we played quite bad, which is why I was looking at that and saying, yeah, but we came up in one test and I don't think we were that good.
But then again, I get the point. Then again, I can use the exact same. I can use the logic, which is they're the only team, probably, if I can remember. Milan are Inter are the only Inter are the only team that that dropped into a low block and done the tactics that work against us. They're the only team that have done this, if I'm not mistaken, from the teams that we played this year in the Champions League. So maybe if other teams play an expansive game, it works in our favor. Maybe these fans who we called deluded and we called Delulu for saying, I want Madrid over Atletico Madrid. Maybe they were right to say that, because clearly when we play against a team that's open and expansive, bro, it works out for us. We're able to, and the thing is, this is one of the reasons why I predicted a win for us in that Real Madrid game. Now, fair enough, what you're saying, I might have not predicted. Big up Ahmed, by the way. Ahmed, brother, you're a fraud. But big up to you. I might have not predicted.
Oh, is this Ahmed, the guy who comes on Al Ahwa?
Yeah, who
doesn't know football? Who doesn't know football? Okay, big up.
Ban Al Ahwa.
I shut up, man. Anyway, listen, I might have not predicted, the 3-0. I might have not predicted the 3-0. But me and Sammy were still able to say, you know what? Based on previous, or I don't know if Sammy had the same thought process as me, but my thought process, if I speak for myself, my thought process is, in this Champions League, we have shown that we can, even if we have, because I believe that Sporting game came in between losses or draws. I think it was in between a Fulham game, wasn't it? When we drew with them.
No, it was also when we slapped up Forest 3-0. So it wasn't. It was actually It was actually during a good run. I remember. I'll tell you right now.
Which one did we? There was a Champions League game that came in between losses, which we actually we
PSV.
had.
PSV Eindhoven. No.
Was it PSV?
Yeah, because we were all saying that PSV could knock us out because Saka was out. We were playing bad games. I'll tell you right now. So
yeah,
we played PSV. Before PSV, we drew to Forest. We lost to West Ham. So damn it, this thing is just 1 second. Yeah, so we drew to Forest. We lost to West Ham. We beat Leicester 2-0, but then we lost to Newcastle before that. So it came after like 3 bad results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also
Sporting Lisbon was actually quite good.
Giovanni, it's not even like this mindset right here is just so basic. Like you say based on that logic, that means you make the final. Villa and PSG play an open game. Are you favourites? That doesn't necessarily make us favourites. That's one of the factors that helps us in a game. They may have factors that help them in a game, like a PSG or a Villa have players that are.
We must go to the final.
And by the way, we are nowhere near the favourites.
Oh, he's asking. He's asking, not saying. He's not trolling.
And Sammy, to challenge your point, PSG should be thinking now that they have an easy route to the final. I don't know what PSG is going to be.
Why?
Because PSG
hold on.
Very
why?
Tough game.
You smacked them 2-0.
By the way, I will disagree with you, Souls. There, I actually think based on what Giovanni's saying, because Giovanni's saying, based on this, you should reach the finals. There's no such thing as you have to, because Villa and PSG are not bumps, especially PSG. They're not bumps. It's going to be a very difficult game, probably a 50-50. But if I had to pick a favorite, if we do go out and knock out Madrid and complete the job in the second leg, I think we would be favorites to make it to the finals, because yes, that is something we should take into account. If a team plays an open, expansive game against us, more times than not, we do end up playing really, really well against them. We've seen it against Madrid now.
But they have a better attack. I'd probably argue.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, but they don't have a better attack than Madrid. What do you mean?
No, I mean they have a better attack than us.
I think this, but that.
Yeah, but we played against a better attack. We played against a better attack than PSG, and we were able to shut them down.
I think the thing is with Souls, yeah. Souls, are you outside right now? Yeah.
Yeah, but I can hear you, gone.
Yeah. The thing is with Souls, yeah. This is what's kind of pissing me off, is that you're completely like ignoring the fact that we've just come up against, quote unquote, one of the best attacks in the world, yeah, with Vinicius Jr., Mbappe, and Rodrigo, bro. Yeah, players. And no, hold on. Let me just finish, Souls, and then you can rebut what I'm saying. Players who have in the past and even in this season done highlight moments to save their teams from embarrassment, yeah, and come out in very, 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 very big moments to play. Now, I understand what you're saying about PSG, that they do have good attackers, yeah, but all I'm saying is our defenders have clearly shown that they can handle a task of being able to handle players. I don't think Kvaratskhelia or Desiree Doué are better than Timber. I don't think so, personally.
What?
I don't think they can. I don't think they can get past Timber.
Brother,
I'm sorry, I don't.
No. Let me tell you something.
When it comes to,
wait. I need to rebut what you're saying, Sad. Sorry, man, because
go ahead.
You're saying I don't know why you think we can do this against PSG. Because let me tell you this: I'm not letting the Madrid result change my overall opinion on this team. I still don't rate this team. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I still don't rate this team. I still don't think the team's good enough. I still don't think our attackers are good enough, barring Saka. I mean, the rest of them are all dead. I think Moreno's tired. I think Martinelli's tired. I think Trossard's tired. I don't rate these guys. So I will never look at this current Arsenal team and go, we should be the favourites to beat PSG, who by the way, in my opinion, are probably the best team on form in the world. They've just won their league. They've just won their league. They're going unbeaten. They're on a good run in the Champions League. They just beat the league leaders in the Premier League, which is the hardest league in the world. They're probably the most informed team in world football. And you guys are saying that our team is probably favourites to beat
Can
them
I
and get,
can I can I rebut?
get to the
Can I
final.
rebut
I
that
think
though?
I think
Can I rebut?
slight favorites if we knock out Madrid. Slight.
Yes, slight. And nobody said
But not,
favorite.
but
That was
Ash, not
nobody
based. No,
said.
no. But
Nobody said.
Ash.
Hold on. But
Slight favourites, not based on
Souls,
form though.
Souls, you're kind of waffling, bro. Because nobody said favorites. Favorites was mentioned by Giovanni, who said you should be or are you favorites? Asking the question. Yeah,
I want to ask. I want to
think
ask
we're
him.
favourites against
Saad,
PSG.
ask him this
but-
question: do you think Madrid's attack is better than PSG, or PSG is better?
In my opinion,
I think Madrid.
in my opinion,
No, let him answer.
in my opinion, I would probably say overall Madrid, but this season I'd say PSG's. On this season, because
it's
I
either, it's either
know
white or black.
because
it cannot be in between. It's either Madrid is better attack or
actually
PSG is better
actually it's not white or
Okay.
black because it depends what you're asking. Because Vinny's had a bad season, but in my opinion, he's still the best left winger in the world.
Exactly. So if Timber is able to maintain Vini and keep him in bay, why he cannot do that against Kvaratskhelia and also Doué? Why? Give me a reason why.
Because Lolo, as I said, I would like you, Saad and Ash, to answer this one question for me. Why are we slight favourites if PSG in every
I
metric,
can answer this.
if PSG in every metric, form, goal scored, in everything are better than us?
I can understand
Because we're better than them in the
Hold
Champions
on,
League.
Ash. Let me just
Go
answer
ahead.
this.
Go ahead.
And then you can because I think you got something
Go ahead.
different is what I had. Firstly, we've played them already. So the defense and the midfield
Yes.
already have been run ragged by our team. That's number one. Yeah. Now the attack is a completely different story, which we have to deal with. Which our defense has already shown they can handle one of the best attacks in the world. Yeah, in Kylian Mbappe, Rodrigo, and Vinicius Junior. Yeah. Now, for me, I look at this PSG team. When you talk about them, yeah, and you're saying why should we favorites? We shouldn't be favorites. We're not. Listen. We might be marginal favorites. Just slight favorites. We're not heavy favorites. Oh my god, we should slap PSG up. It's not going to be like this. This game against PSG, if we go through, obviously we still got a second leg, so let's not go over the top. But we still got a second leg, but it's practically more than less done. But in regards to the next game that we play against PSG, it's not going to be like the Real Madrid game. But what I am saying is this team. Oh, he's gone, man. Why? When I'm trying to explain something, why does he always just go, bro? Now I've got to wait, bro, because he's the one who questioned it. But for you guys, I'll say it for the rest. I'll say it for the rest of the chat, for the chat and for these guys here. My point is, yeah, if you look at the situation with PSG, yeah, and we look at this game against Real Madrid, the thing for me that was so important that they showed me in this game against Real Madrid is that this team has players who can make moments. The Champions League is a competition based on creating moments, having moments. Sorry, Souls, you were gone. What I was saying is the main thing that they showed me in this game against Real Madrid, yeah, is that this team has moments, and the Champions League is a competition made for players to have moments, and that's how you get across the line, bro.
Okay,
That's
so
how you get across the line.
So it's not the best team.
Why can't
that wins the competition?
So obviously PSG was superior to Aston Villa. We can all come to agreement with that, yeah, in that first game.
And Liverpool.
Okay, and
Yeah,
Liverpool, but Liverpool's defense was still able to hold them out to a certain degree. Yeah. Now, when I look at my team, I think my defense, who is just as good, like say for instance, even if we have Calafiori or Kivior, whoever in that back line, yeah, next to Saliba, my defense is just as good, maybe a little bit better than Liverpool's defense, and that was able to hold PSG though, yeah, by the way. And our goalkeeper has shown that he's very good at making saves by saving a one-on-one from Kylian Mbappe.
So we have the best defense in the league.
Yeah,
we have the best defense in the league.
Yeah, no, 100%. And on top of that, Declan Rice has shown me, Saka has shown me, Martinelli has shown me that he can make a moment where he can create a dangerous chance. Mikel Merino has shown me that he can take a moment, make a moment out of nothing. Do you know what I mean? Out of just getting a pass and be able to hit it first time, put in the bottom left corner. What makes you think that we have no chance against PSG? Because you sounded exactly the same as you did against Real Madrid, and you're going to come back.
No, I didn't say no chance. I think they have a better chance.
By how much? We have to quantify it, bro.
I would say it's 65-35 to PSG.
That's outrageous, bro.
That is crazy. I'm sorry.
For a team.
Yeah, you went a bit crazy there.
For a team going unbeaten in their league, the most informed team in the world.
Yeah, but unbeaten in their league doesn't mean anything in the Champions League, does it now?
And you're talking about Uber's league, man. What the fuck?
No, I don't believe it's a farmers' league. I think that's also a bit of a stretch.
Let
But
me finish. No, can I finish, please? Can I land? For a team that's the most informed team in the world on form, they got unbeaten in their league. They just beat the Premier League champions in the Champions League. They should be going into this tie thinking we've just beaten Liverpool, we've just beaten Villa. There's no reason why we shouldn't beat Arsenal either. Arsenal have no European heritage. They have no European.
Neither do they.
Neither do they. Exactly, but all the other factors, they're better than us at. So if we was around Madrid,
no, that's not true though. Like, because we can also say we knocked out, obviously PSV maybe not that big, but I think PSV is like similar to Aston Villa. We knocked out the champions. No, I'm comparing PSV to Aston Villa. Listen, please listen to me. Listen to me. They played Liverpool and Villa. We played PSV and Real Madrid. Their tough test was Liverpool. Our tough test was Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid is a tougher test. We knocked out the
Madrid didn't come and play.
I think Madrid is a tougher test because they slapped up City and they knocked out Atletico Madrid, who a lot of people had as dark horses. We obviously we didn't knock out Madrid yet. We still have to do the job in the second leg. But my point is, if we do knock them out, the reality is, I think we can look at the Champions League. We can say we outperformed them in the group stage, which maybe doesn't really count because they've gotten better after group stage. So maybe that shouldn't count. But if they are going to have confidence from knocking out Liverpool, we obviously will also have confidence from knocking out Real Madrid. And if you talk about their team, yes, I agree, their attack shits on our attack 100%. But I think our defense is much better than their defense. I think our keeper is equal with their keeper. The only thing is when it comes to penalties, I do rate their keeper higher because he is a penalty monster. And when it comes to the midfield, I know they've got techie midfielders, but I actually think our midfield competes with them toe-to-toe, because the reality is, while they've got techie midfielders, we've got better midfielders physically, midfielders who run a lot, who not only, I'm not going to say run more, because even their midfielders run a lot, but we know how to control games, we know how to win balls back, we know how to tackle, we know how to cover spaces. Our midfielders can also be very dangerous in attack and score.
By this season,
Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz and Joao Neves are not dangerous when it comes to attacks.
By the way,
Odegaard,
Ash waffled there a little bit by saying that their goalkeeper is anywhere near ours. Listen, Donnarumma is a penalty saving merchant. Yeah, he's a penalty.
Yeah, so that's this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
Hold on.
Saad always goes something crazy. Saad always goes say something crazy.
To a certain degree,
Donnarumma is on our level with Raya.
Hold on. The one thing that he has in his game that he is terrible at is saving corners and set pieces. Awful at it, because when how do we score from headers?
But he's good at stupid. But he's good at saving free kicks. He's good at saving penalties. Raya sucks at both. Raya sucks at both.
But I don't think we'll let it get to that point. So that's the reason why I think we haven't over.
But they've got a better midfield and a better attack, guys.
They don't have. I think midfield is very level. People need to stop going crazy.
This season. See, here's the problem.
But it doesn't matter because Souls. You're saying this season. Okay, wait. This season based on what? Based on the league? In the Champions League, Souls. Let me just ask you this. In the Champions League only, which midfield has performed better? Without considering league.
Okay, fine. I'll tell you, Ash. Let me land and I'll tell you. Here's my point here. I always argued to you guys multiple times.
Answer my question though.
I always argued that the Champions League is not better than the Premier League because it's not always the best team that wins the Champions League. And you guys argued, yes, the best team in the world always wins the Champions League. Now you guys are disregarding who the best team is overall and saying, in a Champions League, anything can happen. Anyone can knock out anyone. If Arsenal go on to win the Champions League, does that make us the best team in the world, Ashraf?
No. We're not the best team in the world, but you just hold on.
So we just knocked out the best team in the world, which is Madrid.
So your argument is PSG are our favourites over us because they're better than us in every aspect. And then you just did you use not the person to win or the team to win the Champions League is not always the best team. Did you just use that as an argument? How can you do that? How can you say one thing?
The point that I'm
You're
making.
muted, Ash.
I used.
You're muted, Habib.
Yeah,
No, I was saying I disagree with that. I think the teams that outside Chelsea in the last 10, 15 years, the teams that won the Champions League were the best teams in the world. The only thing is you don't get to know that for sure until the final. After Chelsea won it, after Chelsea won it, I can still say I know Chelsea won it. Congrats to them, but I don't think they're the best. I think they just manage certain games better. Every other team I think of in the last 15 years, I would argue they were the best team in the
You're
world.
talking about the second or the first?
Sorry?
The second Champions League or the first Champions League?
Both. Chelsea, both of them.
Chelsea,
both.
The first one, they deserved it. The second one, I agree with you.
No, Sami, that's not what I said. Every winner of the Champions League has deserved it, including Chelsea. I'm saying they were not the best team in the world, though. Like when they won it in 2012, they weren't the best team in the world.
They had Tuchel.
The point.
The first one wasn't Tuchel. The first one was Di Matteo.
The second one.
Second one, they weren't the best team in the world. Come on, they were not even the best team in England.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Guys, yeah.
The second one, I agree. The first one, no, man, they deserved it. Sorry.
My overall point is
Sami, but wait. Once again, Soul Swords. I never said they did not deserve it. There's a difference between deserving it and being the best in the world.
They were the best at that moment. They were.
How were they the best? Okay, Sami, please explain to me. How were they the best in the world?
Because
if they got dominated by Barcelona home and away.
Exactly. That's not the way they wait, Ash. That's not the way they play football. They don't play dominating football. Chelsea plays a very defensive football, just like Inter.
No, that's not true. I don't think you remember that 2012 Chelsea. I
remember it very clearly. I remember it very clearly.
Sami, I promise you don't. You know why? Because they only played that defensive football against Barca and Bayern only. The game against Napoli, they dominated Napoli, but they lost.
Napoli the game against bro. Come on, you're talking about Napoli?
Even in the Premier League, when they played us in the Premier League, we were not dominating them possession-wise. They were having possession. Yeah, I mean, Arsenal always used to have more possession than most teams. They only played that park the bus kind of game against Barca and Bayern only because they understood Barca and Bayern were levels ahead of them.
At that time, Ash.
But how could they be the best if they played Barca? The first leg, Barca missed a couple of sitters. No. The first leg they were not 10 men. The first leg was 11. The first leg, Barca missed a bunch of sitters, hit the post once or twice, and then when they went to the second leg, Barca were 2-0 down and still missed chances, and Messi missed a penalty. And then the final, they played against Bayern Munich, who were much better than them. Much better than them. 15 corners they had Bayern Munich until they finally scored. But Chelsea had 0. And the first corner of the game for Chelsea in the 90th minute, Drogba scores it. That's not a plan. That's fluke. That's coincidence.
Yeah, well, that's like 5 minutes ago. You said Bayern Munich was dominating Inter Milan, but Inter Milan managed to get 2-1 out of them. So it's the same logic, Ash.
Because Inter Milan play like that all the time. But Chelsea didn't play like that all the time, bro. I'm telling you. I can pull up the stats right now and show you their possession average per game. But against Bayern and Barca, they averaged maybe like 20% possession or how much ever it was at the time because they changed their style for that game and people praised them for it because everyone predicted them to get knocked out by Barcelona, who were hot favorites.
Why are you taking it away from them if they were that brilliant changing their way of play based on the game?
I'm saying they managed the competition well, but that doesn't mean they were the best team in the world. To say they were the best team in the world, that means if they played Barcelona 10 times, they probably lose 8 out of 10.
And by the way, you can't be the best team in the world if you don't win your domestic league. That's number one. It's impossible, right? So the point I'm making.
No, I think there are exceptions to that. For example, Real Madrid winning a three-peat without winning the league in 2 of those seasons. I still think you can make that argument.
It's different because they challenged for all 3 of those seasons. I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then your phrase is you cannot be the best. So then your phrase is, correct me if I'm wrong, Souls, you cannot be the best team in the world by winning the Champions League, but not challenging for the league at least.
Yeah. Just playing at the highest
level. There you
go.
Yeah, then fair. I agree with that.
Just playing at the highest level, even competing for all of the cups and everything. Like at the end of the day, the point I'm making here is that PSG should be looking at that tie, thinking we've beaten the Premier League champions, who are better than Arsenal, way better than Arsenal domestically. We've beaten Aston Villa. We're the most informed team in the world. They would see themselves as clear favourites to beat Arsenal. Like, I don't understand why you guys would say that that we would be the favourites, slight favourites to beat PSG. Why? Based on what?
Because
Based
in
on
the
what
Champions
metric?
League, because I'll tell you, because in the Champions League, even in the knockouts, I think we've been better than Champions League. Better than PSG. If you compare us only from a Champions League perspective, this is why I asked you about the midfield question, which you haven't answered yet. In the Champions League this season, our midfield has performed better than their midfield. In the Champions League this season, our defense has performed better than their defense. Now, let's assume you're saying, hey, forget the group stage. So the group stage doesn't matter. They're a different team now. Look at only the knockouts. Okay, fine. I'll only look at the knockouts. I think their biggest test has been Liverpool. Our biggest test has been Real Madrid. I think our performance against Real Madrid has been better than their performance against Liverpool. I think our performance against PSV Eindhoven has been a lot better than their performance against Aston Villa. Which is why when I compare these factors and I look at how Rice, Partey...
Is it that simple though? Is it that simple? Just compare.
No, because I don't have a lot of metrics.
Played.
Because I don't have a lot of metrics to go by. Because I cannot go by the league. I know they've had an impressive season in the league. I know even in a French league, going undefeated is still mental. I agree. It's mental. It's amazing. But I cannot compare the same metrics in the league. Especially, by the way, if I go by your argument, Souls, about injuries and all that kind of stuff, I have to give context for Arsenal with injuries, even though I don't think that's the reason why we lost the league, or at least
I know, but I mean,
not the primary reason.
I mean, with all of that context, so I mean, looking at everything, our injuries, our team, everything, PSV are more fit to win this game than Arsenal are.
But I would have said that before our Madrid performance, but after our Madrid performance, again, assuming nothing changes in terms of players getting injured, someone going missing, something like that, obviously assuming that nobody gets injured from either team, I would after the Madrid game, I wouldn't say that anymore, Souls, because the reality is, if we go up against them, the only advantage I think they'll have, because we've already played them once, we know how PSG play, the only advantage they have is second leg at their ground, right? That I can say, okay, fair enough. If we win the first game 1-0 and then go to the second leg at their ground, I agree that probably puts us at a slight disadvantage,
okay.
depending on what we do in the first game.
Okay, actually, if we go to Madrid next week and we lose 2-0 and go through 3-2, would your opinion not change?
It might change a little bit, yes. But I don't expect that to happen. If we lose 2-0 to Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu, and let's say PSG absolutely slap Aston Villa, not even slap, forget slap. If they just win against Aston Villa at Villa Park, yes, I might change my stance, because I'm like, oh, maybe that result was like a one-game result. And that doesn't mean we were lucky. That doesn't mean it was flukish. It was a well-deserved victory. Smart tactics by Arteta, well-deserved by the players. But yes, there are clearly deficiencies that we're seeing again and again. But if we draw or beat Madrid and PSG, let's say whatever PSG do against Villa, my stance stays. However, by your own logic, Souls, if we lose to Madrid 2-0 and PSG lose to Aston Villa as well, 2-0 or 1-0 or whatever it is, then my stance doesn't change, because I'll be like, okay.
No, but my stance would change if Villa lose, if Villa beat them. But so it's and last question, Ash.
Even if PSG qualify, I'm saying,
no, but if we was to face Barca next round, would would your opinion change on who the favourites are?
Barca or PSG? What?
Barca. If Barca
No. I think Barca are the favourites. I think Barca are the favourites to win the whole thing.
Nobody thinks we're favourites against Barca, broski.
Yeah, no chance.
Nobody.
By the way, I think we're favourites against. If we knock out Madrid, I think we're favourites against every other team, even if it's just a slight favourite level, except Barcelona. People be like, oh, Inter Milan. I wish Inter Milan knock out Barcelona, because I genuinely think if we play that final, even if they play a low block, it'll be better for us to play a team like Inter Milan instead of playing a team like Barcelona, because we think like, oh, every team that plays open football will rip them apart. And maybe that's true for most teams. Barcelona is a different level of monster, bro. And I know we said the same thing about... Yes, exactly. I was coming to that. I know we said the same thing about Real Madrid. The only difference, I guess, is that Barcelona have been on point this season in the Champions League and in La Liga throughout the season, barring those 5-6 games in the middle of the season when they had a rough patch. Whereas Real Madrid have had rocky performances in the Champions League and in La Liga, up and down throughout the season. Barcelona have not had that, which is why when I compare Barcelona and Real Madrid, and also Barcelona, by the way, when it comes to their attacking style and the way they attack and the way they're set up systematically and stuff, it's a lot more organized than Real Madrid. Real Madrid is a bunch of individual talents, right? But I still had them beating us and knocking us out, because I'm like, their individual talents are just too good, and they are, as a team, are that good. And I've always maintained this. I've always said Barcelona, in my opinion, No matter what happens, even if Madrid go to the finals, and I told you guys it's going to be the first ever Clasico final, but Barcelona is going to win it. So that doesn't change for me, anyways.
Yeah,
So even if
I
we
agree.
knock out Real Madrid, I don't think it changes.
I agree with Ash. The thing is with Barcelona is Barcelona have not faltered at all. Like they've not shown, like apart from obviously he mentioned that rocky little 5-6
Middle
games they've
patch, yeah.
had, but they've not shown that they can falter against many teams. And the thing is with Barcelona is they'll go band for band with us. Yeah, they'll be able to play expensive football with us. But the only thing is with them is that their players are built and bred into this whole play style that we do of controlling games and trying to do this and they've got Lamine Yamal, they've got Robert Lewandowski, they've got Rafinha, some of the players who are the best players right now and in line for Ballon d'Or. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, Robert
And can I just
is probably not, but
and so sorry to cut you off, Sad. And one more thing to add to your point, they have something much better than Real Madrid, which will make our life a lot harder. What is it? Do you guys think?
Wait, can you repeat that?
The manager.
They have forget the manager. Even I mean, in Champions League, Ancelotti is a boss, right? They have something, Barcelona, that is much better than Real Madrid, which will make our lives a lot harder. What do you think it is?
they have
Their style play.
Pedri.
Their defense. Their defense is not shit. People think they have crap defenders. They don't. Balde is decent. Kunde is a solid defender. Kubarsi is having the season of his life. Araujo is in and out. Christensen is obviously not going to be there. Even these other guys like Inigo Martinez and the Man City guy, Eric Garcia, when they play sometimes as backups or when they rotate, they still do well. So that a focal point is also correct, by the way, SC. Having a focal point like Lewandowski makes a big difference. But their defense actually defends well, and when they play the high line, they kill teams with offside traps. And even if you beat their offside trap, their players manage to track back because Balde is quick, Kubarsi is quick.
I agree with Marco on this. Barca is literally a clone of us with better individual players who will make us pay. So
exactly,
do you know what I mean? It's not.
And a better manager. I'm sorry, I rated Arteta after Madrid, but Hansi Flick is better than him.
No, big up to Hansi Flick. But listen, obviously we managed to win. Declan Rice, I mean, bro. I mean, this first hour just has to be about this Real Madrid thing because, I mean, Declan Rice, those free kicks. The first one, bro. We need to speak. We need to speak about this because that first free kick, was crazy. The second free kick, is even more crazy, bro. Like
I didn't believe it went in, man. I didn't believe it.
Can I just say the first free kick on the eye, on the eye is more aesthetically pleasing because of the bend and it's going outside the box and in. But the second free kick,
no man, the second one was out of this world.
Score. the second one's harder to score, and that second free kick. I don't know. I'm younger than you guys, innit? But to me, barring the Messi goal against Liverpool, that's the best free kick I've ever seen.
But have you not seen the Roberto Carlos against France?
Yeah. And
have you not seen? You must have seen the clip goals for sure.
But also, if you guys watched Pirlo, he's like Pirlo, you know, those kind of fouls. That's Pirlo's-esque.
I think, bro, honestly, there's like 5 or 6 free kicks I can think of as like top 5 in my top 5 free kicks of all time. I think those 2 free kicks, one of them gets the second one gets into the top 5.
The second one gets in there.
It gets in my top 5 all time.
Even if you mention Ronaldo versus Cristiano against Portsmouth, bro, like where he done that knuckleball one from way
and
out,
against
bro.
Arsenal, unfortunately, as well.
Yeah, we don't need to mention that one. Yeah, we don't need to mention that one. But even when he did that one against Portsmouth, like, bro, that one was mad. Yeah, but it's a knuckleball, so I'm not gonna go to
exactly
this one.
David Luiz is to do them.
This one, this free kick was like top bins. Like as top bins, if they had top bins in the dictionary, bro, they'd have that free kick, bro. It was nuts, bro. And the thing is, with a player like Rice, we're expecting like, you know, him to at least put it on target or something like that. We weren't expecting him to score it, and we weren't expecting him to do it twice.
Yeah,
the first one was like, oh my god, like even like I was celebrating already, because I already seen it hit the back of the net. Ash is still looking for the ball, like, yo, where did the ball go? bro. He's
I
looking
couldn't
at
believe it.
He's like, when,
Yeah,
I wanted to do a
the
watch along,
second-
but I was sick, man. Fuck. And I
Yeah,
was out of my bed.
the second free kick is one of the best goals I've ever seen. Period. Right? It's an
Yeah,
absolute incredible
goals. No, I
for the
wouldn't say
moment,
goals, but
for the
yeah,
no.
fair.
I'd say,
Definitely
I
your
think
best
for
free
me,
kick.
in terms of in
One of.
terms of a goal, forget the free kick, as a goal in the where it is in terms of the competition, the opponent, it's one of the best goals in history. And it will be known, and it will be
Maybe,
classed as one of the
but
best goals in history because it's against
I
Madrid.
mean,
It's a quarterfinal. It's in the UCL. It's a perfectly crisp free kick. There's no deflection. It's literally a picture perfect goal. So like, I wouldn't
it's
really
not.
like subtract it into a free kick category, if you know what I mean.
Honestly, for me, like, if you're gonna go like that, I can think of a better goal against Madrid in the Champions League. Messi, when he got the ball from the middle of the pitch, went running past 4 players and put it in his right. I can
We're
think
talking
of
about free kicks. Free kicks. Free kicks.
no. He's saying
He's trying to say
forget
it's a
free kicks.
goal.
He's one of the best goals in the
Goals
Champions League.
ever.
I think
No,
it's
no,
yeah. I
no,
think it's a bit
that's-
crazy.
that's
I think
outrageous.
I think Messi's goal against Bayern Munich when he
Bayern
dropped
Munich, yes,
Boateng on his
yes,
ass and
yes,
chipped
yes.
Neuer with his right foot. That too. I
Even
think it's a
against
lot better.
us, Ash, if you recall it, the one where
Oh,
he flipped it and,
bro.
with
When
Almonia.
he
It's
scored
not.
4
It's
goals
not bad.
against us,
It's not bad.
when he
to
scored
vote
4 goals against us, 3 of them were
bro,
bangers.
Ashraf,
Yes.
Crush Kelly's goal against Aston Villa was better than Messi's one against Bayern, where he put a Boateng on his on
Bro,
on
please
the
stop.
floor.
I know you're a Messi hater,
I'm
but
not.
don't be
I'm just
unreasonable
saying.
now.
Stop.
I'm
stop
being
trying
reasonable.
To, stop
Wallahi, I'm
trying to
being reasonable.
overrate
You're
goals.
trying to be an.
It's not that. But
I'm
you're saying
not. The
that's one
Bayern
of the
Munich.
best.
Let me tell you why the
You
Bayern Munich
just
was
said
bad. Because
Messi's goal
one
against Bayern
is.
Munich was one of the best goals ever. It's not. It's not one of the best goals
It
ever.
is. Let me explain to you why. Let me explain to you
Also,
why.
Giovanni, I won't include the Bale
Yes.
in the UCL because that was more for me. Like, listen, I understand that Bale scored that goal from way out there, but that was more a keeper blunder.
No.
Than it was-
He's not talking about that one. He's talking about the overhead kick.
No,
Bale
the
scored
overhead
2
kick
goals in
was-
the final.
Oh, yes, he did.
That
Yes,
was
he
the
did.
The overhead kick,
one.
right?
Overhead
Nah,
kick
but
is
then
The
we have to
reason-
think
one
about
of
the
the no,
Ronaldo
the
one, the
overhead kick is
Ronaldo
easily
against
one of the best
Juventus,
goals.
bro.
Yes,
Also
exactly.
that one.
Ronaldo against
bro.
Juventus.
Know what I mean?
Bale against. The reason why Bale's is
No,
harder is because
hold
Bale's
on.
was going
Ronaldo-
backwards.
No, but
Yeah.
Ashraf, Ronaldo against Juventus is renowned by pundits as the best Premier League, the best Champions League.
No,
goal
I
in
don't
history.
care. Why the souls? Wallahi, I'm not trying to argue.
Don't say
I don't
about
care what
pundits.
pundits say because pundits don't say these things out of logic. They say things out of passion and stuff. I'm
And
trying to keep
emotion.
passion away from it.
The
The reason I'm saying
Ronaldo
Messi.
goal versus
the re-
Juventus is the best Champions League goal.
Let
of
me
all
explain
time,
to you.
and
Let
a
me
lot of
explain
people
to you
agree.
why. Let me explain to you why Bale's is better. And then, but before that, let me also tell you why Messi's goal against Bayern is one of the top out there. Because I don't know if even know if people remember at that time, Boateng was one of the best centre backs in the world. He wasn't a scrub. If you
And
remember the
Neuer.
seasons he was having. Yeah, I'm coming to Neuer. But Boateng was not a scrub. He was, first of all, he was a World Cup winner just that same a year
Yeah.
before that, right? He was, for the last 3-4 years before that, he was one of the best centre backs in the world. He was continuing that form, right?
Mhm.
And when he came up against a player like Messi, not only did he get dropped on his ass, which is like such a crazy skill. It's not a crazy skill. It's just the speed of how Messi did it. And then the best keeper in the world, with no arguments at that time, everyone had Neuer number 1. Again, someone who won the World Cup a year before that, someone who won a treble 2 seasons before that. Messi chips him with his weaker foot. And Rafinha, who was the fullback of Bayern Munich at the time, is trying to sprint to try and stop the ball from coming in. The ball, because the ball was chipped not that quick, it was a bit slow.
Yeah,
But it was timed to so much perfection that even Rafinha sprinting to try and stop it couldn't reach it on time, even though the ball was going like this. Right? The reason why Bale's goal now is better, in my opinion, even though Cristiano's goal was mental against Juventus, the reason why Bale's goal for me is better because if you guys watched the cross that came from Marcelo, I think it was with his weaker foot, with his right foot, the ball was actually going backwards. It wasn't curling towards goal. So Bale had to, when he did the overhead kick, he had to go backwards and do the overhead kick to divert it back into goal, right? Whereas Cristiano's overhead kick, as incredible and phenomenal as it was, he wasn't going backwards. He just had to jump up straight and do it. You get what I mean? So Bale had to do a lot more. And that way, Rooney's is the same thing. You guys remember Rooney's free kick, the overhead kick against Man City? Against City, the ball was going. Yeah, the ball was going backwards, so he had to do it that way. But bruh, Rice's free kicks, and by the way, I don't even think he was the best midfielder that game. I'm not gonna lie.
Whoa.
Partey dominated. Yeah. Partey
I think Partey from minute 1
So-
till minute 90
the
was
thing is,
destroying everyone.
the thing is for me, like I can hear the Partey was the best midfielder in the game. Yeah, I can hear that. But for me, the reason why Rice was for me the best midfielder in the game, not even because of the free kicks. You take out the free kicks, he still was the best midfielder in the league for me.
I agree. In the game, I
in
agree.
the game. The main reason why is because he was doing that attacking role, and if you looked at the amount of spaces he was getting into, where he was offering that extra, he was kind of doing the Rodri role at times, bro. Where this guy was like, okay, give me the ball if you need an out, and I can help you out, and then recycle it back. He was also putting in crosses. He was getting in for the header, bro.
Yeah, and Side,
This guy put.
you're forgetting. And Side, you're forgetting the third goal. He ran all the way down. Do you remember when he?
Yeah, he carried the ball. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he carried the ball.
Listen, you know what? Yeah, in certain games, this Rice at the 8 thing works, but then in certain games, it just doesn't look like it's working. Like, it looks like he's out of position. I'm hoping that Declan Rice, yeah, can find that consistency where he can be in that position at the 8 and play like he did against Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's because we see it against low blocks. Maybe it doesn't work against low blocks. But against an open team in the 8, Rice works, bro. When he's given space to operate, bro, in that 8 and he's going forward, it works, bro. It works. I think that's the problem. I'll be real with you guys.
No, I think.
No, I don't know, but sorry, go ahead, Sammy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I agree with Ash. Partey was a masterclass. He was a maestro in that midfield, man. Not a single mistake. He knew when to pass, when to, go back, go forward, turn. The turns, man, his turns. And every time there's a mistake from our midfield, he could have run back and covered that mistake. Man, for me, Partey was dominating that midfield like a boss. You feel the levels of Partey and the weight of him in the midfield. I think that really gave us and took the balance towards our side. I'm not saying Rice didn't have a good game. No, Rice had a very good game, but like you said, Saad, he needed that space, and Madrid was having highways in their midfield. But when we play where we play an opponent with a congested midfield or a low block, this is where we don't see Rice, because he's not really tactically, he doesn't have that touch, he doesn't have that skill, but he's an athlete. Nobody can take that away from him. He can run. He's powerful. He can give you that he give you that pace and everything. But when it comes to a congestion midfield, I don't think he's that creative. He's not that creative with the small flicks, how to pass between the lines, how to break the lines. I don't see Partey doing. I don't see Rice doing it. But this game, I give him the props, and of course the two worldy free kicks that just gave him the man of the match, even the man of the week in the Champions League, not only for that particular game. But Partey, for me, he was the best midfield we had.
Can I?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can I praise a player that I don't think anyone will want to mention?
Skelly?
Not that we want to mention, but no, everyone wants to mention Skelly.
Okay.
I think Moreno also had a very good game. Moreno, the chances he had, the shots he took, the layoff he did for Partey.
I wouldn't because of the first half, Ash. I wouldn't because of the first half. Two times,
yeah, but even
Saka across the ball there, and he was.
I agree, but I think he made up for it. I think he made up for it, bro. Like if I try to remember some of his moments, the first shot on target we had was him getting the ball and laying it nicely to Thomas Partey.
Bro, he was shocking in the first half, Ash. He was shocking.
No, I know, but I'm saying he made up for it after, which is why I'm saying nobody mentions him, because people only look at that performance in the first half. They don't look at the stuff he did in the second half, the running, the playing he was doing, the shot he took. He took two shots, one that was saved on the line by Alaba, and the other one that was saved by Courtois. He also and even the goal he scored, by the way. He did two incredible things in that goal. First thing is, he's the one who got the ball under pressure, turned to the side and played it to Rice before Rice started running. And then he immediately starts sprinting inside the box, waiting for the ball to come back. And when Lewis Skelly played it, just like I mentioned the Bale thing, Moreno had to go back to get the ball and took a first-time shot with precision for the bottom right corner. Bruh, this guy...
It was a good goal, but if you're looking at his performance as a number 9, I'm sorry, he wasn't that level. If we had a number 9, we would have been 5-6-0 up there. I'm sorry,
I think that performance for me is better than what I've seen Havertz do in many games, honestly.
I don't rate Havertz, man. For fuck's sake.
I thought he would have mentioned. I thought he would have mentioned Kivior. Because I'll be real.
No,
Listen,
no.
I hated on Kivior, but I don't think he did that bad in that game.
No,
I'll
sorry
be real.
guys.
No, he was good.
If we're actually looking at it, he did surprise me, bro. I thought he was gonna be
Outside the first 15 minutes, yeah, the first 15
No,
minutes.
Yeah,
shaky.
Because he was
The
good
first
or
15
Madrid
minutes-
was bad.
Hold on. The first 15 minutes, everybody was kind of there or thereabouts, a bit nervous. There was, do you know what I mean? Passes were getting led astray. Like, bro, it was nerves, bro, in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But once they got-
Regardless,
know what I
regardless,
mean?
all of these guys are shocking. We need big improvements in the summer. The manager
Yeah, I
needs to
agree.
invest money. Moreno is
Yeah.
not a striker. Technically, he's probably one of the most technically gifted players on our team in terms of the
Nobody's
Spanish
saying
second.
that.
No. Listen to what I'm saying, though. I'm not saying you're saying anything. I'm not rebuttaling any of your points. What I'm saying is
Okay.
that overall, what happened at Madrid happened at Madrid, and cool, we're all happy and this, that. But the point still stands, which is very clear, that we shouldn't be in this position anyway, where we're playing Mikel Moreno at striker, okay, and we're playing Kiwior in the Champions League match against Real Madrid. Shouldn't be happening. I'm sorry. So, as Sammy said, if we had a striker, Saka's 2 balls that he put through in the first half, there would have been someone
Yes.
there at the end of it. Okay, so at the end of the day, let's not put ourselves in the same position as last time, and whatever happens this year in the Champions League happens. I still don't think that there's any pressure for us to win this UCL. Maybe that could work in our favour, but we need big improvements.
There definitely is pressure to win a trophy, but listen, we need to speak about Mazu Skelly, Saka. Do you know what I mean? We need to speak about some of these players, bro. Martinelli.
We need to speak about the best fullback in the world, Timber. Maybe not in the world. I don't care. I'll say it.
Yeah.
Best fullback in the world.
I'd say probably only Hakimi's been better this year, but
Yeah, agree.
but I would say he's definitely second. But I think also big up. One player that I didn't mention, Saka. Again, there was a lot of debate about him and Rodrigo and all this madness that I watched on you lot stream. Again, I think Saka's better than Salah. So for me, I wouldn't even engage in discussion. I wouldn't. Wait. Can I just finish? Let me finish.
Watch
I
out,
said it.
Souls.
No,
You're
I'm not
live,
watching
Souls.
nothing. No. It's
You're
not,
live.
By the way, I said Saka was better in January when before Saka got injured. I'll still say it now. Overall, I'm just saying, efficiency wise, in terms of someone to put the ball in the back of the net, yeah, cool. Maybe Salah trumps him on it, but I mean, overall, if you're talking about a player that impacts the game in every way, shape, or form, draws tackles, puts his body on the line, brings the ball forward, IQ, never loses the ball, doesn't make any. Obviously,
And you're cut off.
Allah saved him, bro.
Even the internet man is telling you you're waffling.
Bro, the
that's a rare
internet's
sight
thinking he's
from Saka,
waffling, bro.
actually. Do you know what I mean? So overall, for me, Saka is, apart from Saka is, in my opinion, the 3rd best winger in world football, and I'll always say it, and I'll stick to it until someone
What's your list?
can
Who's
get to
top
the level.
3?
My list, and again, it's not based on form, because if it's based on form, I'm putting.
Yeah. So
Yamal.
Vinny Jr.
Yeah.
Who else?
No, I'm classing Mbappe as a winger. There's something about me that always.
So Mbappe, Vinny, and then Saka.
Yes, in my opinion, but that's not on form. On form, by the way, on form, in my opinion.
But these are left wingers. I mean, is that fair?
No. But
Because they're wingers still. It's the same job.
No. But by the way, this is on form. Basically, on form, I think it's a toss up between Yamal Doué and what's his name?
Dembele.
I'm skipping. Yeah, the Dembele. Or you could
Wait, who on form? Who is it on form?
I would say on form, as like on current form, I'd say, and it's not on a list, but I'd say it's a toss up between Yamal Doué and Dembele.
So Salah doesn't get into your thing with.
I think
on
that's
form.
not on form.
Are you
not on form? No.
Are you mentally ill? Are you
No,
mentally ill?
Nobody has a better GA than him.
I don't care about GA because
Are you
even the
are you
games
skunked?
Nobody has better
Yes, I'm
GA
not
than
skunked.
him, bro.
No, I'll tell you why I'm not skunked, because even the games where Saka
100%
scores,
you're skunked. Wallahi,
no.
you're
Even
skunked.
the games where Salah scores a goal and scores 2 goals, he doesn't perform well under 90. So I'm sorry, I just like to see
Why
more
the
from my
fuck
wingers.
does that matter?
No,
Yeah,
it
why does that
matters to me
matter?
because-
That's not his job. That's not his job.
Hold on,
His
bro.
job is not to.
I don't care what his job is.
Hold on a minute.
You
Souls,
care about his job. I don't care
what
about his
wins
job.
you games?
What do you mean?
What
You
wins
still
you
get
games?
because
games.
That's how you're rating them. You're rating them based on their jobs.
No, we're not waiting based on the jobs.
Yes, you are.
Everyone's got a different interpretation of what their jobs are. In my opinion, Saka did a job to win those 2 fouls to Rice scored them goals.
They got shit for
right?
the raid,
so everyone's got a different interpretation of what people's jobs are.
Yeah,
Saka
but Salah has done things like that in many games.
What you're saying. What I'm saying is, listen to what I'm saying.
You don't care about logic, okay?
No. I can say what I think, and what I think is I like to see more.
Habibi, we're here to discuss. That's why you could say.
I like to see impact from my wingers, big impact from my wingers. And in my opinion, I've watched too many games
like
this season
goals,
where Salah.
assists.
No. In my opinion, there's too many games this season where I've seen Salah disappear for 85 minutes and get one chance and score it, and everyone's raving about him. Cool, you've done a job.
That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
That's fine.
As a winger.
And yeah, exactly. And that's probably what Slot's told Salah to do. But what I'm telling Saka to do is cool, score a goal, get an assist, but actually impact the game. Go and win a foul. Go and do this. Go and do that. Salah, in my opinion, he's not involved in the game enough, which is fair.
But Salah wins fouls.
No, actually, stop trying to argue a point that doesn't exist, please. You know what I'm saying? There's too many times.
I really don't.
No, bro, because you're gonna go and find me a game where he wins a foul. And what I'm saying to you is,
but you're saying you like Saka to impact games, which is fine. But how do you impact games?
Saka is a lot more involved. He works harder, tracks back more. He impacts the game a lot more than Salah does over a 90-minute period. Everyone will agree with that. So stop talking shit.
Can I tell you?
If you're gonna say,
but then he has. What's more important for an impact? What do you guys consider impact? Isn't it goals and assists? What is the point of someone dribbling past 7 people but not scoring or assisting? That means you didn't impact the game, right?
By the way,
for me to win the game, you need to impact it by scoring.
All I'm saying.
By the way,
saying
Boston, you're agreeing with this argument. But hold on, Souls, because you've spoken a lot, bro. 1 second, Boston, you're agreeing with his argument, yeah? This is where his argument has holes at the bottom of it and it's falling out of the bottle, bro. This is where his argument is flawed. Is because when it comes to Salah, yes, of course, he doesn't track back. We know this. We know that he doesn't defend. But
he doesn't do anything.
You hold on. As a winger, you're supposed
to do anything.
Hold on. As a winger, you're supposed to be in the attacking third and the final third doing stuff. Yeah. So what does this guy do in the attacking third? He's always involved in every shape and in any aspect of the game, attacking wise. He is always involved for Liverpool.
An assist as well.
Whether it comes to be, it's not even about, even in the games where he doesn't get GA, he's still involved, bro, because he's still creating chances. He's still
I'm with you, Sad. No, Sad, I'm with you. But Sad, I'm with you. But what I'm saying to you is I'm allowed to say what I think. And what I think is if there's 20 games left in the season today, as of today, and you told me who do you want as a star winger to come in and change the whole shape of your team and impact you, I would pick Kvaratskhelia over him. I'll pick Dembele over him. I'll pick Doué over him. I'll pick Jamal over him because I'm picking players that impact the game more. There's a lot more to them. They're going to go and drag that ball up and bring it. Like Salah, if you're talking about a ready-made team where you can get the ball to him and he can finish the job, he's probably the best in the world, right? What I'm saying to you is, as an overall winger, from what I like to see from my wingers, Salah cannot be compared to the likes of like in terms of overall impact. In terms of GA, he's incredible at it. In terms of just being there, if Liverpool play bad, Trent can do one long ball to Salah and Salah will score it. Salah will be the best at that. Son used to be amazing at that. By the way. But the point I'm making,
you know that he exceeded Thierry Henry, Souls, right?
Yes, he is, and in my opinion, he's the second or third best player.
And I believe you rate Thierry Henry.
I
believe that.
No, listen to me.
Thierry Henry is scandalous.
Henry, I believe.
Yeah, can you stop that? You fraud.
By the way, I believe Salah is the second best. I believe Salah is the second or third best Premier League player in history. By the way, because his GA/90 proves it. A lot of arguments to why I think he's unbelievable. What I'm saying is, as of today,
you're contradicting yourself here.
No, I'm not. How is it, Sammy? How is it a contradiction, bro? If one point,
if you're saying he's the third best player in the Premier League, and then you're saying you're not picking him.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
Okay.
Sad. I said.
Clarify.
Sammy. I said he's the third in Premier League history. So I'm talking about his past, the years I've gone. I'm talking about on current form. In my opinion, on current form, he doesn't get in over. He's probably not even top 5 because I think Jamal's performing better. I think Kvaratskhelia is performing better. I think again, I'd rather have Saka in my team. I think that there's a lot of wingers now in world football that are just performing at a top level. Like you got
Okay, so let me rebuttal that really quick. So the funny thing is when we're discussing about quality wingers, because he said a couple of things that are just crazy in my opinion. First of all, he said, "Oh, you know, if in this current team, like, so if Salah is having a bad game, Salah can only play in a ready-made team because if he's having a bad game, you know, one long ball by Trent, this and that." But the reality is, he's not in that great of a team. He's the one making that difference because every one of their attackers outside Gakpo, who's not even Gakpo, who we have like, oh, Gakpo's been decent. He's been decent for compared to the other attackers, but the attackers in general have been garbage this season. Their midfield this season does not contribute to goals at all. Their defense has been good, yes, but that only keeps you from conceding. It doesn't actually help you score. The reason why they have been doing so well in attack is because he's been carrying the attack. When I say carrying, people look at carry means I need to get the ball from the midfield and I need to go past 4, 5, 6 players and I need to score. That's not the only way to carry. Carries also
Saka doesn't do that. Saka doesn't do
carries
that.
also. Let me finish. Carries also. I am Salah. Hey Trent, hey someone, give me the ball. I will take it from midfield. Gakpo, you just freaking run like a donkey. I will find you. I don't care where the hell you are. I'll find you. The reason Salah's assists and crosses and through balls come to these players and they score them is not because they make incredible runs. It's because Salah puts balls so well that when they are running, he sees their run and he puts it in the exact position, knowing where they're going to be. These guys are not intelligent enough to be like, this guy got me coughing, going mad. They don't. Salah. People think, oh, Salah put in a cross. The only reason Gakpo scored that is because Gakpo made an intelligent run. No, Gakpo makes a normal run behind the post. Salah's incredible pass actually finds him. Secondly, he said, what did he say about? Oh yeah, he said, oh, I want a winger who impacts games. The way you impact games the best is to score, create, assist. That's how you impact games. All the things. One second, let me finish because I'm going to start coughing again. Let me just stand.
No.
He says impact games. The reality is the reason why people are hyping on Doué, and by the way, Doué is amazing. I was telling Sol yesterday, I'd love for him to be at Arsenal. Yeah. The reason why people are hyping Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele,
don't talk about
all these other players. All these other players, when they're hyping him, they're hyping them correctly because they are fantastic players this season. The reason why they're getting hyped, the reason I agree, I'm not denying it. And the reason why they're getting hyped, that way is because people see them doing the dribble, this and that.
Not the dribble, not the dribble.
Wait, I'm coming to it. I know what you're going to say. Let me finish. You, as soon as I finish, you will see it. Damn, he covered my point. They see them doing the dribble, this and that, Dembele, Nutmeg, McAllister. But because they also have GA, it resonates and they're like, damn. So look at the numbers and he's also dribbling. Salah doesn't do the dribbles. I agree. But he doesn't do the dribbles because obviously he's not young like them and all that kind of stuff. So he uses his brain in a different way. So the reality is I can actually argue that what Salah does, in my opinion, even though he's dribbling less, is much better than what Dembele is doing. Because for Dembele to make an impact in a game, he has to go past 5, 6 people to make an impact, which is not possible all the time. For Salah to make an impact in the game, you just have to give him a ball and he can sometimes do it from one touch because he's that phenomenal at what he does. For Salah to make an impact in a game, he just has to have one correct pass to him, which happens in every freaking team, and he can finish it from a first-time shot. Dembele to make an impact in the game, if he doesn't dribble, he does not have that kind of impact. And we all know it's not easy to... I don't know. And we all know it's not possible to always dribble. Like, if Dembele plays against Inter Milan, he's not going to dribble past 5, 6 people because they won't let him.
Yeah. I don't know. He's talking about dribbling past 5 people. There's none of the players that I've listed do that anyway.
Okay, maybe not 5 or 6. Not 5 or 6, my bad. 2 or 3. 2 or 3, there you go. I've just finished it. 2 or 3.
I've never seen Saka dribble past 6 people anyway, and I said he's better.
Okay, I'm changing it back. My bad, so 2 or 3 dribbles. Salah doesn't do 2 or 3 dribbles. But he impacts the game in that way, bro.
And it's not the dribbles that's the issue. That's what I said to you. Even if Salah got the ball once in a match and dribbled past 6 players and scored, I'll still make the same point. The point is that because of his age, his fitness level, and it just, for me, he's not somebody I'd want to have it in my team because he doesn't impact the game enough outside of just...
Well, okay, let me ask you a question, but Souls, please don't deflect. I'm going to ask you a question.
Questions. No, until I finish my point. I don't want to hear your questions.
You cut. Okay, fine. If we're gonna do that, I'll finish. If we're gonna do that, I'll finish my point. Then you can continue. Since we're not asking questions. No. I wasn't talking for 10 minutes. You were talking, and then I came in later.
You was talking for 10 minutes.
The other thing.
The point that I'm
The other
making
thing.
Saka, what Saka has that Salah doesn't is that Saka
Nothing.
impacts. No. See, nothing. Look. At the end of the day, the point that I'm making here, guys, is I don't even know why we've deviated to Salah anyway. The point that I'm making, which is the original
because you
point, is that
waffled. You can't say stupid shit and think we ain't gonna sit there and
Exactly.
try and rebuttal it.
It's not stupid. I've been saying this for time.
It's laughable.
Yeah, and it's stupid
bro.
for time. And it's been stupid for time. And by the way, this, you know how it tells you what this guy thinks about football. Even people are laughing in the comments when he said this. He said winger tracks back. This is what I have always said, and this is why I pray for wingers like Liao and all who are lazy, who don't track back. Because, by the way, who just scored? I just read Marco's comment. The reason why I don't like wingers who track back quite often, unless they have like the stamina of Bekelele, the Ethiopian athlete who was the record breaker for 5,000 meters and stuff. Because your primary job as a winger is not to track back. The fact is actually the best wingers of the world. If you really think of the top 5-6 wingers to ever play the game, they weren't that good tracking back. No, even if you exclude Messi and Cristiano, exclude them. They weren't that good. They didn't track back that often because they were so damn good going forward, right? Your stamina is limited as a human being because we're not robots. Your stamina is limited. So when these guys were so damn good in attack, like Neymar, like Ronaldinho, like Mbappe, like Ribery, like these kind of wingers, like Bale, because they were so damn good, Hazard, because they were so damn elite, the coaches understood that you are so freaking good, and this is the level of stamina you have, just like every other footballer. I don't want you to spend half of it tracking back. It's a waste of resource. It's imagine you freaking employ someone who has 10 years of experience. I'm going to use business reference, and this guy's going to get pissed off, obviously, because like, don't use business. Imagine you hire someone who has 10 years of experience in sales, smashing numbers every single year, killing it, is able to sign the biggest accounts, right? Knows how to charm accounts and win deals every single time. And then when you hire this gem, you tell him, hey, listen, I'm going to put you in operations. I need you to just handle operations internally in the company. I don't need you to deal with clients. That's a waste of resource. Imagine you take a winger who's so elite at scoring and creating, and you tell him, I need you, this stamina that you have, I need you to use 40% of it tracking back defending. That's a stupid waste of resource. I'd rather you use your stamina to kill it up top. This is why the tracking back argument for any attacker is the worst argument. It's the worst argument, and that's why people were using this to praise Havertz last season. I don't know if Souls was one of them or not, but a lot of people used to praise Havertz saying, but look at the level of tracking back he does. That tells you all you need to know. If you're a midfielder, I understand. Yes, as a CM or as a DM, or maybe even as an attacking midfielder, I would look a little bit at tracking back as well. Not the primary thing, but it's a big factor. As a center mid and defensive mid, it's a big factor.
Ash
as a winger, it's not important.
Ash is 100% right, because I used to be one of those bozos that was sitting there arguing with him about freaking attackers defending and all this shit. Yeah, and the thing is, when Souls drops like madness like this, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I understand that you may think, if somebody thinks that they do more with big up to Caddy, by the way. If somebody says, yeah, that player does more by dribbling, you're completely wrong, because let's take, for instance, Salah in a game. Salah will score goals, firstly, yeah. For what he lacks for in dribbling, he's more than made up for in like the amount of goals that he scores, because he scores a massive amount of goals. On top of that, he also betters it by also adding something else to his game, which is difficult, which is brilliant playmaking. Yeah. And he also adds IQ, bro. His IQ is elite to a lot of these players. That comes with experience. So when you're saying, who do you want your team right now, you have to go for the experienced player. Are we really gonna sit here? Are we really gonna sit here and say that in our team, in theory, yeah? I don't know what happened there, bro.
I changed it because I don't think he's coming back.
Oh, is he gone?
Trust me, I know him. He's not gonna come back, bro. Keep going.
Yeah. in theory, all of us, yeah, would still take Messi now because he still has that ability in him to be able to just take a game like that. Right now, he's just relaxing in America. But if Messi came to any one of our teams, he instantly becomes one of the best attackers and one of the best players on that pitch for our team or any team, regardless. And that's because Messi still has that IQ, which never, ever, ever goes away. Once you have that football IQ, you can never get rid of that. And that puts you levels ahead of other players. And that's the reason why players like Messi, players like Salah won't track back, because they know when we get to the attacking side, which, by the way, in Liverpool's system, it's not mainly defense. They're not mainly concerned about defense. The defenders do their job. The attackers are there to do their job, and majority of the time they're going forward. Majority of the time they're able. It's very similar to Klopp's style of play. So it's very much on a transition-based play style, and it's very much based on being able to do something when you're on the transition or when you're in the attack or running towards the defenders that you're playing against. So this is the thing for me. When people say this waffle about Salah, it makes no sense. That argument right there made no sense from Souls. But listen, big up to Souls. Obviously, he's gone now. I don't know if he's coming back or not. But listen, let's just quickly have like 5-10 minutes just quickly on Mars Lewis Skelly and all of that stuff. And then we do need to speak about Salah and Van Dijk, obviously signing new contracts. And then
personally, I don't think we'll need that long, bro. Like Lewis Skelly, fantastic. I take it back. I said a couple of weeks ago. I don't really take it back fully because I now I can say it. What I said before doesn't change, to be honest. I think we overhype our youngsters too quick. And a lot of people were overhyping him before, and I've said that before. And now I can clearly say, you know what? He is a very, very talented player. He is actually that level. I just hope that we take care of him well, and we don't overuse him. We don't burn him out and all that kind of stuff. But I'm generally saying this: if he keeps on this trajectory, I think he can be the new Ashley Cole for us. I think he can be at that level, but he has to stay humble. He has to work hard. He has to take care of his body, not make stupid decisions. He needs to have the right people around him to advise him. He had a phenomenal game going forward. Defensively, he made one mistake when he lost the ball to Rodrigo, and Rodrigo went in. But luckily, we were able to get back and stop them from doing anything. Look, I don't agree with people saying Odegaard was bad. I think the other players were just so good. I don't think he was great. I think he was okay. I think he did okay. I think he had a couple of decent moments here and there. That link up he had with Saka initially took time to come in, but it showed up later. He had
one pass the whole game, one good pass.
Yeah, but I understand that. But I think he was
from a creative midfield, right? This is your creative. This is your number 10.
Yeah,
Ash.
yeah.
I think that was the game plan, though. But was that wasn't even the game plan? The game plan wasn't majority of the time to go centrally. I think the game plan was to go down the flanks and be able to penetrate the right back and left back. So in theory, we're not even playing against a team where majority of stuff is happening centrally. It was always about getting the ball to the wingers, and the wingers are creating problems for them because they had Alaba, who wasn't doing well with Salah, with Saka. And they had Valverde who was getting cooked by Martinelli. So in this game, I don't understand why people say, "Oh, but look at Martin Odegaard." Like, this game is not the game to mention for Martin Odegaard, but I still think he did all right. I still think he was linking up play a little bit. Listen, yes, he's not having the best of games. He's not having the best of seasons. And normally he'd take a game by the scruff of the neck and be able to make something happen or something. But he's still, that one pass that he done, that still caused a very, 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 very dangerous position for Saka to get into and then put the ball into the box. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If a goal comes from that,
that's the only one pass.
But if a goal comes from that, then people are speaking about Odegaard so differently because they're like, "Oh my god, look at that pass that Odegaard did for Saka to get the ball into the box for them to score. Oh my god!" And do you know what I mean? We take what Odegaard does sometimes for granted, and then we're like, "Oh, but look at him, he's not performing. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just
no, because
if you look at the way we played that game,
we know his level is down. That's why we are blaming him now, right?
Look, I agree. He's not been having his.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, go ahead, Saad. Go ahead.
No. I just wanted to say, but just think back to what I was saying, bro. The game plan that we had, that Arteta had, didn't complement him anyway, and he still managed to be able to pull that pass out
But
of
what you
nowhere.
said, Saad, that's when Saka's back, he's gonna be in his best. Now Saka was there. And he
Yes,
didn't seem
but
in
for
his best.
for this game, there was a different game plan. We were going down the flanks. With this, normally we'd give it to Ødegaard, and Ødegaard would create something, whether that be with Saka, or whether that be with getting it centrally and being able to do the little horse shooting that they like to.
I think he should have been benched for Nwaneri. That's my opinion.
No,
Not in this game, no. I think the experience and knowing how to handle the pressure matters, man. Because I like Waneri and I think he's going to be a top quality talent for us, but we don't know how these guys are going to handle this kind of pressure. And especially when you compare Lewis Kelly and him, Lewis Kelly plays for us every single game as a starter. Waneri doesn't, and this was a big game. Look, there's no secret, there's no hiding for Odegaard. He hasn't been that good this season. He has had some games here and there where he showed good levels, but
I'm talking
in a
about
lot
this
of
game
games,
match. Forget about the rest of the season.
yeah. But majority, no, I'm saying majority of the season he actually hasn't been that good. So it's not just this game. And if you compare it to Partey and Odegaard, yes, he was obviously not as good as them. And I'm even okay to say he wasn't good. Like I'm okay to say he was just average, for example. But I think if the whole team plays that way and he's just passing the ball around and getting things moving, I'm not that mad at it, but obviously it cannot last forever, right? By next season, and I'm okay with saying until the end of the season, I'm not even going to look at his performances again because it's almost over. We only have a month left, and he's not going to suddenly start killing it like in the last month, in my opinion. Next season, though, he needs to fix up because A, he's our captain. B,
Thank you.
I'm assuming next season we're trying to go for a league again. If we make it past Real Madrid, inshallah, then we're obviously going to start looking at the Champions League as well and thinking, you know what, we have a chance there as well.
250,000 per week. So that's why I'm saying.
No, for me that I don't care about that because I think he's earned 250,000 because of what he's done the last 2 seasons. Yes, he's having an off season.
Exactly. I'm saying because of his previous season, because of his previous performance, we're expecting better from him.
But Sami, even if he's on 50,000, I would be saying the same thing. If he's on 50,000 and he performed the last 2 seasons the way he did, am I going to suddenly come here and say, well, he's on 50K, he's allowed to be bad as well if he can? No, it doesn't matter what he's earning. He played well. I know his level. Whether he's earning 10K, 50K, or $1 million, he needs to get back to that level, whether he's on 250 or below that. Yeah. Next season, he has to start. And by the way, the only thing I think he needs to do extra funny enough is score. I know people will be like, oh, but look at he's not creating enough. If he starts scoring...
I want assist from him. I don't want...
But if he scores, that goes away because the problem where a lot of times people criticize him this season,
that's even better
because he missed chances in front of goal. Against Everton, he missed a good chance in front of goal. Against this last game we played, United, he missed a chance when Tierney squared the ball to him. He's had games this season where he's missed chances that he should have scored. If he scored those chances, we probably look at, okay, he didn't create, but at least he's scoring.
So do the super chat so we can move on to Salah and...
Yeah.
And
Sammy is just on a mad one, bro. It's okay, Sammy, man.
Yeah. We spoke 1 hour and 27 minutes about it. I think we're good.
Big up to AMT who says when a team is leading 2-1, 10 to 15 minutes to go, then it's okay for wingers to track back. That's not what we're saying, to be honest, bro.
And I agree with this. I agree with AMT.
Yeah, I agree with it as well. I don't think it's bad for wingers to track back, but that shouldn't be one of their main priorities, is what we're trying to say. Correct. As an attacker. Mm-hmm. But big up to AMT. Speaking of Salah, contract sign, Virgil van Dijk signs. Do you know what I mean? They're staying.
The league will be tough. The league will be tough next season.
Now the league is definitely going to be tough next season.
Yeah,
with those 2 players staying at Liverpool.
Go ahead, you guys start. Sami, start.
Well, I think this is a huge news for Liverpool fans, and yeah.
We'll be right back, yeah.
I think this is a good news for Liverpool. Very bad news for all other teams, especially us as Arsenal fans that we want to win the league. So this is a big setback for us to know that Liverpool are a very serious club. And we have to wait and see what we're going to do in terms of signings. I think Liverpool are going to sign players because since Arne Slot came, they didn't sign a single player. So, I mean, with with not having his own players and he's performing at this level, I'm really gonna be, it's gonna be really scary what he will do when he sign one or even two players from his own choices. City also will be back. I don't think they're gonna, be at the same level at this season. I think Pep is gonna, somehow reincarnate City back, or drop a 300 million and sign players again, and they will be back. You're looking at Newcastle also winning a trophy. That's also boosting their confidence. So even the top four race is going to be tough for all teams. I don't think we're gonna have. It's going to be very difficult for us to guess who's going to win the league next season. Is it going to be Arsenal? Is it going to be Liverpool? Is it going to be City? I don't think anybody can predict it, easily. There's no like a clear choice here. Unlike the previous seasons where City dominated, Liverpool came out of the blue this season, but mainly most of the time we say, okay, City's going to win it or Arsenal's going to challenge. But next season, I think it's going to be very, very difficult to predict. It's going to depend heavily on what the teams will do in the summer, and Arsenal need to get it right. And especially in the attacking department, we need to sign attacking players. We need to sign a striker. We need to sign a left winger. I know Martinelli did well in the past couple of games, but I don't think we outgrew him now.
He's good as a backup. Yeah,
he's good as a squad player. Yes, I agree with you. But as your main guy, I don't see him as your main left winger. I don't see Trossard to be your main player as well. I mean, we have to move on from these players. We need to elevate the levels. We need to bring the likes of Eucharis. We need to look at people that actually can take us to the next level and actually challenge in every single tournament. I don't want just the league. I want to win everything. I want to win to the cup, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, also, in the Champions League. So competing in all four tournaments at a high level, I think you need a lot of players. You need a huge squad. I think Arsenal was the smallest squad going into the season, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe.
So, yeah, we were. I think I read that at the beginning of the season. So that's a really, really tough on Arteta to not even rotate. I mean, and Arteta doesn't rotate. The Arteta is not known for rotation.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
but just to get back on the Liverpool situation and the contract, like, look, I think I agree with what Ali is saying in the comments. Look, it's obviously a very, very good thing for them, and I think it would have been horrendous for them to not renew both Van Dijk and Salah, especially with Trent gone. And I get Liverpool fans will be like, he can leave. We've got Conor Bradley. He is going to be a miss, at least, especially in the long run, if you look at the way he attacks. And maybe this season it hasn't been at that level. Maybe that's Slot's tactics. He wanted him to be a bit more reserved going forward, so he can do a lot better defensively. But I think what he offers going forward is going to be obviously a big loss. But tying down Salah and Van Dijk is a massive statement. However, with that being said, I actually don't think it will make a difference if they don't sign players in the summer, because we've seen many times teams that do well in a certain season, especially with they don't have an old team. I know people will be like, they have some overage players like Salah and Van Dijk, but McAllister is a good age, at a peak age. Szoboszlai is at a peak age. Gravenberch is young. Gakpo, I think, is at a decent age as well. Diaz probably might be shipped off anyways. So they don't have an old team. Konate is at a good age. Alisson can go for another 5-6 years. The thing for me is, every time I've seen a team outside Man City, but they've always strengthened, to be honest, win a league and not go do good business in the summer to reinforce even more, it ends up backfiring them. Because remember, this Liverpool team as well, fatigue will creep in eventually. Some of these players who have played a whole season and now will have the summer break, will come back and have to play at that same intensity again. That fatigue creeps in over a couple of years. So you need to make sure you have 4 or 5 players coming in to help refresh that squad. Not starters, but just squad players.
Not only refreshing, Ash, adding to your point. No, I agree with everything you said. Allowing the transition from this generation, which is Van Dijk and Salah, you need to have this kind of mentality and this smooth, to the next one, like Madrid did. Like they kept Kroos, they kept Toni Kroos, and they kept Modric, even with their their old players, but still they have the mentality, they have the players. They allowed the youngsters to slowly the transition to be smooth and to learn from those players. And Van Dijk and Salah are the best in their position. I mean, if you're going to talk to me about right wingers or you're talking about defenders, these are the top 3 for me: Salah and Van Dijk. So I think it's a very, very brilliant business from Liverpool.
I think I also agree, man. I think it's very brilliant news for Liverpool. Their fans must be ecstatic by this news. This is the news that they would have wanted to hear.
What is this, man? VVD is overrated, man.
He's just trolling. He's just trolling. There's no way he's actually saying that seriously.
They got to sack a boy, but you know what I mean? Listen, people who have avies of players in their name, it's questionable, bro. And
look, VVD has to. You have to give respect to VVD because I think Van Dijk. I think he would have had very good options out there. I think if he decided, if he came out and said, "Hey guys, I'm leaving,"
he had Real Madrid, Bayern.
You would have had PSG for sure.
I think PSG was.
I think PSG, yeah. There was a link with PSG. I think if he said, "Hey guys, I'm out," a lot of teams would have gone for him, even if they have good centre backs. Yeah. Salah, I still hold my argument that I think it would have only been Bayern and maybe Inter Milan if he's going to play as a striker, which I don't think makes sense. And even Bayern, like Olise is playing actually well for them, to be honest. But Van Dijk had options, and for Van Dijk to stay, that is big up on him. Like, and I think
which one do you think is more important, VVD or Salah? In your opinion, I know there are two different players, but
I'd have to say Salah.
It's hard,
and the reason why I say Salah, I know Ash is still thinking. I'd say Salah, and I think once I explain it, Ash will.
I have an answer. I'll wait for. I have an answer. I'll wait for you to finish.
The reason why I say Salah is because their attack is so like poor.
Yeah,
he's worth way more than what Van Dijk is worth, in my personal opinion, just because of the situation with their attack. Now, if they go and rejuvenate the attack and get a striker, get a winger, and get players out of there, and then get better players in that attack, then I think it changes to Van Dijk, because Van Dijk is monumental in the defense. But right now, as it stands, I think Salah is more important. But that can change with the window.
Yeah, I would agree for sure. I think I would say Salah, and even if I take Saad's argument into account, let's say they actually sign good players. Let's say they do sign good attackers this summer, so that argument doesn't hold anymore, for example. I would still probably say Salah, because I think what Salah is doing is something that's unparalleled. I don't think any other player out there can replicate those kind of numbers and can play with that kind of intelligence going forward. I'm not saying there are centre backs that can do what Van Dijk is doing, but if Liverpool lose Van Dijk for whatever reason, I think there are centre backs they can get who might not have his leadership, so they'll probably have to replace the leadership.
This is the part I want to stress. The leadership. Do you think?
Yeah, but I think they can.
Than VVD?
No, definitely VVD has more leadership, 100%. But I think they can get that leadership somewhere else in Alisson, in Salah. They can get it in a bit in McAllister. They can get it. They can spread it around. But when it comes to what Salah does and what Van Dijk does, I think if you take away Van Dijk and you put in a top quality centre back, he won't give you the leadership, but he might give you that slight, like he might give you 70 or 80% of the quality of Van Dijk, and he might keep improving if you get someone young, like someone at 21, 22, or 24 or 25 even, because they'll have time to grow and develop. I can think of centre backs, like right now, if you tell me Van Dijk is gone from Liverpool and they have someone like Gabriel, right? Yes, of course, the leadership is gone, but I think Gabriel can at least in a year or two can start playing at that level where he's holding the fort. Maybe he will never be as good as Van Dijk, but he will develop a decent partnership with Konate that they start defending really well. If they get someone like Bastoni from Inter Milan, for example, who's also very, very good on the ball, if they get someone like, somehow, let's say they convince Rudiger to leave Real Madrid and so on. So I think you can do something. With Salah, I genuinely cannot think of any player, unless they change the style of play, I cannot think of any right winger out there who can come in for the next 2-3 seasons and pull up numbers like Salah. Right? And yeah, and as Ali said, they're like linked with Højsund as well. Look, I always worry about like one season wonder, so I'd want to see him do it for 2-3 seasons. But yeah, if they get someone like Højsund and he comes into Liverpool and he actually turns out to be the player people are saying he might be, then there you go. But right wingers, can you actually think of someone? No. Yes, there's Yamal, I get it, but he's not going to leave Barca. Yes, there is Dembele. Actually, they could get Dembele. Who knows? Maybe. No, actually, no, they will not get Dembele because Khalifi will never let someone like that go. So the wingers out there in the world for the right wing, there's no one available that can do it.
I don't even think Yamal can replace Salah. and it's just because of the amount. No. But just listen to my reasoning. It's not that Lamine Yamal is not a great player like that, or isn't performing at a very, 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 very high level. It's just the goals and assists that Salah is producing. I don't think any other winger in the planet right now can produce those types of numbers. To that level.
But
that's the reason.
Fair,
that's the
fair.
reason why I say it, Ash. I'm
Fair.
not saying it in regards to they're not as good as Salah. I'm just saying those numbers is something that no other winger in at the moment in this league in this world can produce.
But the reason why I think Yamal would make sense, Sads, because you are now getting a generational talent that for the next 10 years, by the time he retires, he's going to be one of the greatest players to ever play the game. So you can say, I can take Yamal if Salah leaves. He might not give me Salah's numbers for the next 2 seasons, but in 5-6 years, I'm going to have a player that's unstoppable that is going to win me Champions Leagues and leagues. So you would take that risk then.
Okay. All I'm saying is, in regards to that, if we're going replacement for replacement, I don't think anybody else can replace Salah. If you bring in Yamal, and then if you bring in Lamine Yamal and then you bring in other players with him, like a striker that's actually clinical or
like
can take his chances, or a winger who can take the chances on the left wing, then maybe it works. Yes, 100%, because then you can spread the goals out and he can assist, he can score goals as well himself, and it can spread the goals around. But right now in their current state, I don't think anybody else can replace what Salah does in that team. Big up to AMT sends in another super chat saying, if Arsenal do very well in the window, I'm not worried. I think everybody's in agreement with that. If Arsenal do well, then we shouldn't be worried. We should not be, because we should be able to go there and do our job, get the players that we need. We need a striker, we need a left winger, we need somebody who to come in that can
centre back.
Playing centre back, the left centre back especially. Which I think we're in for that Houston guy as well, Hoyson, however you say his name.
I would take Hato, bro. Gerald Hato.
We're in for him. Gerald Hato has come out in the media as well and said, like, he speaks to Timber regularly and that's his role model. Do you know what I mean? So I can see Gerald Hato coming to Arsenal. There's been the link for way too long. We were one of the only teams in for him at one point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can see him coming at some point. If it's not this summer, I can see it maybe in the January or next summer, him coming to Arsenal. In regards to here, they said Liverpool have scored by far the most goals in the league. It's not poor, but could be better, you fraud. So to hear, you just heard poor and Liverpool and then just completely went on the offensive. But I don't think you fully understood what I'm saying. In your attack, Salah has scored 70. Is it not 70% or 80%? What was the percentage?
Probably more.
He has scored over 70%. If it's over 70%, he's scored over 70% of the goals and the GA. He's had 70% of the GA goals and the assists for Liverpool. If that means that your other attacking players are not poor, I don't know what else does. Because if he's assisting and if he's making all of these, and by the way, he's high on all of the numbers for created chances and all of this. He's higher than Saka for the created chances. Maybe not big chances, but he's still there for created chances. If that doesn't mean that your attack is poor, I don't know.
61%. Salah has contributed 61% of Liverpool's goals in the Premier League this season.
Is crazy.
Mental.
61% is nuts.
Mental. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then also, Ali said, would you be annoyed that you pivoted to Gyökeres and Isak becomes available and goes to LFC? I don't think. Here's the thing. For us, Gyökeres is an option. Yeah. If Isak becomes available, we're gonna go in for Isak as well. That's the thing. We're not just like, okay, forget about Isak. We're not gonna follow him anymore. We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do that. The club is as a whole. The club is obviously looking at Isak, looking at Gyökeres, looking at Sesko, looking at all these strikers to try and build a portfolio for which striker they want. And then in the summer, when we know what the situation is, whether they get Champions League or not, Newcastle, then we know what the situation is with Isak. So
I think, guys, I'm not in agreement with you here. That Salah is more important. I would keep VVD more rather than Salah. If there's like
Why?
a choice.
Right? Well, you
Well-
have to give us a reasoning for that.
Well, first of the point is the leadership. I think VVD has more leadership in the pitch compared to Salah. This is one.
Okay.
Two, their age. Okay. I think Salah VVD is like 32 or 33 years old. I mean,
think
there's
he's
like
older.
one year.
Yeah, he's older. He's older than Salah.
Yeah, one
He's
year older.
33
Okay.
and then Salah's 32.
Okay. For an attacking player, the chances and the probability of him to digress is higher than the defender or even a goalkeeper. I think you guys can agree on that. If we've seen it in football, in the realm of football, always the attacking guys regress after the 32, 33
Can I
years
tell
old.
you why that? Can I tell you why that's wrong?
Generally, I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
applicable
yeah.
to everybody.
But in
It's not
but in
applicable to
Salah,
everyone. Mhm.
but in
Yeah,
Salah's
tell me.
case, can I tell you why that's wrong? Sorry, I know you want to go with your other point.
No, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, Sad. I'm not
on
saying that
one,
I'm
I'll
right.
just tell you why
Yeah.
for Salah, I think that's wrong. The reason why I think it's wrong for Salah is because Salah's not going out crazy just trying to score goals. We've seen him this season change his game to suit his age. He knows I can't be consistently running up and down the wing.
I agree with you, and
So
you very rarely
now-
find players like this. You rarely find players
Yes,
like
exactly.
this, like Messi, like Salah, the guys that with age they find a different way of playing to impact the game. I totally agree with you. I'm not saying Salah
Yeah.
is not capable of that, but the probability of him to dip in form is higher than Van Dijk. This is why I'm basing why I'm saying Van Dijk is more pivotal to Liverpool than Salah. Liverpool's attack is heavily depending on Salah, yes, but I think they can, easily find a replacement and and slot. As I said to Ash probably a couple of minutes ago, that Slot didn't sign any player. I mean, we don't know what type of players that he wants to sign or the type of gameplay or tactics he wants to implement in Liverpool. But Van Dijk, I think, is very, very pivotal for Liverpool. And I think without Van Dijk, I don't think this season they would have won the league. This is my opinion. Also Salah, of course. Both of them are pivotal for Liverpool. But VVD for me is more important to them than Salah.
Yeah, I listen. I disagree with the arguments you put through. I'll be real. I know you're trying to say like the probability of him declining is probably higher than Van Dijk.
Yeah.
But my rebuttal to that is we've seen yeah, sorry, we'll get to that on Ash. I'll question him on that. I've seen Salah be able to change his game and alter his game to suit how he is performing right now. And also Salah is not somebody who doesn't take care of his body. Salah takes care of his body. The guy's got the body of a freaking 23-year-old or 25. It's like Ronaldo, bro. Do you know what I mean? So they're
players, both professional athletes. They're both professional athletes.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Those players will tend to last much longer than the regular attacker. So I don't think when you're talking about these players, you can't really put them in with normal attackers, in my personal opinion, because firstly they are like literally servants of the game. They take care of their body. They're always in the gym. Also, they're able to. For me, what kind of changes it from what Ronaldo done? Ronaldo kept on going with the scoring and trying to do this and trying to do that and change his position to striker and do you know what I mean? Just trying to become a striker. With Salah, he's still performed and given them majority of the goals and scored so much, yeah. But the only thing for me is he's added that playmaking ability. That's what's so important for me. So that's
but the demand, but the positions Salah is playing is more demanding in terms of physicality than defender. In defending, you can rely on being smart and guess where the ball will be. Where when you're an attacker, you need to put some physicality and you need to have very high level of stamina, which I think Salah has currently. But from now onward, I think he's going to go through a decline. You cannot tell me that Salah will, become a more athlete in a year or two from now. You cannot tell me that. Physically, it's not. I know it's 32, but this is the age of football. I mean, what is the average age of football players? Between 17 up to 34, 35. Is that fair to say? For
yeah, but the thing is, Salah.
Hold on. Will, I thank you for pulling up to the Emirates. Do you know what I mean? Thank you for your team. Do you know what I mean? Big up, my bro. You came into the Emirates. We said, big up, man. There we go, man. And then gave you a little slap and then just said, see you later, bro. Later, bro. The door is that way. Do you know what I mean?
They never scored against Arsenal. I mean, that's really a funny stat.
You've never Real Madrid to this day have never ever scored even a goal at Arsenal against Arsenal.
Shit, man.
Nuts.
It'll probably end at the Bernabeu. But anyways, look, I hear the points you're saying, Sami, but the thing is, I don't think Salah is the kind of winger or attacker that plays and relies on pace and physicality and stuff. I think he's more like Lewandowski, like Benzema, like Harry Kane, who relies on intelligence and movements. Even Messi, like, I know he's not as good as Messi, obviously, but you don't believe that, bro. You don't believe on a remontada like on Wednesday. Stop that,
bro. He's cussing. He's sitting there cussing Ancelotti. He don't believe in a remontada, bro.
We have not conceded more than 2 goals this whole season. In fact, we have not conceded more than 2 goals in the Premier League or Champions League since last season, bro. We're not gonna concede 3 goals at your ground. But look, anyways, I don't know. I just look at it and I think he can adjust like Lewandowski, like Benzema, like Harry Kane, like Messi, like Cristiano, because I don't think he's the kind of player who's relying heavy on pace and speed and physicality and stuff. My concern would be more with players like...
For a winger, you need to have that pace, Ash. For a winger,
you don't need to.
No, you don't. Not that kind of... Not a winger like Salah. For a winger like Vinny and Mbappe, yes, because if you take away their pace, they lose a lot of things. I think Mbappe will readapt his game, I'm pretty sure, when he starts losing his pace later. Vinny, I'm not so sure. I think Salah has adapted his game. If you remember Salah from when he first joined Liverpool, he wasn't playing this way. He was used to try and take on people. He would try to make a lot of runs.
Yeah, he was electric. Him and
he was super electric. He's not electric anymore, but he's got his best GA this season without being that kind of electric winger, which is why I'm saying
him shifting to center forward instead of winger.
I think so, but I don't even think it'll be a center forward role. I think it'll be more like a second striker role, where there'll be a striker and he's going to be roaming around him, just like how Messi did in his latter years, and he won't be asked to defend as much, which he anyways doesn't get to do. Which, by the way, that also adds to the fact that he's going to last longer, because not only does he take care of his body really well, obviously we all know as he doesn't drink, he takes care of his body, he eats right, but also he doesn't track back as much, which is the right thing to do for a player of his quality, which is why I think his quality will be preserved a bit longer. I actually think center backs, when they lose Van Dijk, by the way, people don't know this, he's got mad pace. If you go on a race with him, like a long distance, he can beat most players. If he starts losing that a little bit, it'll start affecting his game. And that's what I think. And also, I'm just looking at it, Sami, from just the perspective of this current market today. I think you can get centre backs who can come in and do 70% or 80% of what Van Dijk does. I don't think you can get any right winger in the world today, at least today, that can do.
So you're basing on availability of the market. That's what you're.
Yeah, of course, 100%. If you told me right now, Rafinha was available and Rafinha can bang 50 goals, for example, or 50 GA, and he's available and he wants to join Liverpool, I'd say, yeah, you know what? Then lose Salah and keep Van Dijk if you have that option.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen, big up to everybody. We are gonna go on to the
predictions.
Oh, actually, no. We need to just quickly speak on this. Speak on Ashraf's point. I didn't even read the full thing. Speak on Ashraf's point regarding we shouldn't be Arteta out if he reaches the UCL final. I agree because it's a very good point. Listen, I'm just gonna start by saying this. I disagree. With his point, I have, even when he said it to me, I disagreed with it just because I've set my parameters for this season. I'm not willing to wait. I don't care if you reach a Champions League final. I don't care if you reach the FA Cup. I don't care if you reached all 3 finals: the Champions League, the FA Cup final, and the Carabao Cup final. If you don't bring me a trophy this season, then I'm sorry, I want you out. And that actually gives, for me, that gives me even more hope that this team is capable of getting to these finals, and we need somebody who can get us over the line. Because that's just my reasoning. Do you know what I mean? But big up to Ash.
Look, so yeah, big up SE. I think he's referencing it from yesterday's show with Don Hassam. where I mentioned, like, for me, this is something I said from the start, and obviously Saad can back me on this. I always judge managers based on progress, and I've always said, for me, as long as a manager keeps progressing us, I'm happy to say, I'm willing to, not happy, I'm not happy, but I'm willing to say, okay, as long as you're progressing, we'll keep going. The reality is, for me, the last couple of months, I've said Arteta needs to go this summer because I never saw a world where we reach a Champions League final. I'm like, it's absolutely impossible. The moment that draw was done and our fate was put with Real Madrid or Atletico, whoever it was, in the quarterfinals, especially Real Madrid, I said, yeah, he's got to be out. We've regressed in the league. I don't care about the cups, to be honest. I only use the league and the Champions League as a measure of progress or regression. We've regressed in the league. We've stagnated in the Champions League. He should be gone this summer. Now, I know Sami and obviously Saad didn't think the way I did because they both believed we have a chance against Madrid. So big up to them. Obviously, they were proven right. But I thought our chance. I'm not going to say our chance was 0, but I thought our chance was less than 10%. Right. And I'm only saying 10% because it's 2 football teams playing on the pitch. So I'm not going to say 0. Now that the unthinkable has happened, and I know we haven't gone through yet, so I'm not going to be deluded. But if we do make a Champions League final, and we play against Barca in the final, for example, and we lose 2-1 or 2-0, because of the fact that we've progressed in the Champions League, I now have to start weighing my options and look at, okay, we regressed in the league, we progressed in the Champions League.
No, wait. You're going to keep Arteta if you reach to the final. Is that what you're saying?
If he reaches to the final and we lose to Barcelona, only Barcelona, by the way.
Regardless of we lose, Inter Milan, Barcelona, whatever. Whoever.
No, because it's different for me. If he reaches the final against Inter, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Nah, I'll tell you, because for me, if he reaches the final and plays against Barcelona and we lose 2-0 or 2-1, the reality is I think Barcelona are the best team in the world. So if they end up edging us in the final, I'm not going to sit here thinking, how dare you not win against Barcelona? Because I think they're that good. I think they're that superior to everyone else. If we play against Inter or Bayern, in my opinion, I know people will not agree. Maybe you guys will agree or disagree. I don't know. I think we're better than both those teams. So if we lose the final to them, I'll be like, okay, good job getting past Madrid. Good job getting past PSG. But you bottled it in the final against a team you should be beating.
If Inter Milan goes to the final or Bayern Munich, that means they've beaten Barcelona. So how come Barcelona is the best team in the world if they got beaten?
Because, then I would be, but that's playing style as well. Maybe their playing style worked with them. By the way, I don't see any world where Bayern beat Barcelona. But Inter Milan, if they knock out Barcelona somehow in the semi-finals, not with that defense. But if Inter Milan somehow knock out Barcelona, it just means that playing style works for them. I think our playing style works for Inter Milan, right? And I also think we are better than Inter Milan. And this is why I don't see Inter Milan reaching the Champions League final. But my point is, if we reach Champions League final, I'm looking at it as we've progressed in the Champions League. And I would even argue we progressed tremendously in the Champions League because knocking out Madrid and reaching a final, both these factors together is a massive progress. But we've regressed in the league. So now my dilemma becomes, which one is a bigger impact? Is the regression bigger than the progression? I think the progression would have been, assuming we finish second, which is why I don't think we should be playing our second team in every single game in the Premier League, by the way. I think that's ridiculous. I think the progression in that scenario would have been slightly more than the regression, which is why I would say, given that we have Berta now, if he really is going to be taking over the sporting stuff, I would be willing to say, okay, he's progressed this season overall. Let's go one more season, but you have to progress again next season. And progression next season logically means a trophy, because what is there beyond the Champions League final? There's no other final. Beyond the Champions League final is a trophy. So that is the only thing left for him to do if he reaches the Champions League final this season. If he reaches the semi-final and we lose to PSG, this whole conversation is irrelevant, obviously. That's my logic. And by the way, my logic has never changed. Before people go crazy, you can ask Saad. I've been saying that from last season, not even this season. Any manager that comes into a club, I only look at progression. This is why I have that energy for Ruben Amorim. Because for me, right, people will be like, oh, it's not his team. He came in a mess. Ineos is crap. They don't have money. I'm sorry, that's all BS. Because if I'm hiring a new manager like Ruben Amorim, and Ruben Amorim takes over United, I'm saying
I have to stop you there because if we reach to the final, just like 06, where we lost to Barcelona 2-1, and then the next season, the Champions League, we got knocked out at which stage? If you recall, I recall the team, but I don't recall the. I think it was not even quarterfinals against PSV, right?
Okay, but what does it have to do with my argument, though?
So does it not mean that you reach to a final that you're gonna maybe win the champion? Because based on your logic, you're saying we're progressing the Champions League. First, we got knocked out from the quarterfinal. Now we reach to the final. That means, in your logic, somehow we have a chance of winning the Champions League the next season, which is not the case.
Yeah, we do. Of course we do. If we sign the right players, of course we do.
So there's nothing tangible here. This is all potential for you. What is tangible?
No, it's not. No, it's not potential. It's not. If we reach a Champions League final, that means next season we have a chance of winning it, unless we lose Saliba, Saka, and all these guys.
Yes, which is potential or chances or probability. So there's nothing tangible here. What is not tangible? What is tangible here? That we did not win a single trophy for 5 years,
but we still progressed.
What does that has to do with progression, man?
Because I'm telling you, for me, a manager, for any and that's why I give an example of Ruben Amorim. With any club, when I sign a manager, I'm looking at this, which is progression, going upwards. If you're going upwards, I know we're going at a snail pace, and I hate that, right? I know we're going at a snail pace.
Not even a snail. It's a plateau. You reached a plateau with this manager.
No, we haven't. How have we reached a plateau? If this is our first ever Champions League final, our second ever Champions League final, how is that a plateau? That means you have done something.
Okay, you reach to a level that you're competing in the league. You're second. You're challenging City. You're challenging Liverpool.
Which is not good enough. I am agreeing with that. It's not good enough.
And the Champions League, you reach to very high stages. You went to the final, semi-final, whatever. But still, you didn't win shit, bro. You didn't win shit. So
but progression is not only winning, Sami, right? Progression is not just winning. I agree, winning is the ultimate prize, which is what we should eventually get to.
Any project, you want to call this a project? Let's call it a project. People love this word, project. Okay, a project, that means you have to reach a certain goal or a certain KPI that you set for yourself, right? Okay, I want to reach, I want to win the league after 5 years or after 4 years or whatever you want to call it. Phases, whatever you want to call it. If I didn't do that, if I didn't get a trophy, not even a cup, man, not even a Carabao Cup. So where's the progression?
I don't care about the Carabao, but yeah, I get you.
Okay.
No, the progression is last year. It's like saying project. It's like saying last year we made $10 million. This year we didn't hit our target of $20 million, but we made $15 million. Did we progress? Yes. Did we reach the target? No. That's why I'm telling you.
So what's your target, Ashraf?
Progression. That's literally what it is. Until we become that dynasty of a team that United was, that City have been in the last 10 years. And again, this is the argument we had on Sat Channel last year.
Nobody cares about this, Ashraf. After a decade from now,
what do you mean?
Will care about this progression. People will talk about,
I will, and I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why. If we win a treble, if we win a treble this season, Sami, and for the next 10 years, we finish 6th, 7th, 8th. Are you happy with that?
Compared to your example, which is
in this example
with no cups, yes, I would take that.
No, but this is my point. The reason I look at progression is because I want something sustainable. I want us to have what United had in the 90s. I want us to have what City have had in the last 10 years, which is I don't want us to win something and then next season be 10th, right? Which I'm not saying that'll happen. Obviously, that'll not happen. But I'm saying the only way for me to build a dynasty,
win something, and then we can
hear me out, Sami. The only no, but that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say. I want the whole point of this project, and the only reason I'm being patient on this damn project is because this project was promised that it'll be the kind of project that'll get us to where these teams were, which is
you are smelling the food, but you didn't even taste it. Smell it.
I understand. But if you tell me taste the food, but you're gonna go broke and hungry for the next 10 years, I'll say shove the food up your ass. I want to feast for the next 5-6 years. That's why for me I'm saying. By the way, when I said up your ass, I didn't mean you, Sami. I meant like
sure, man. Absolutely, man.
Just in case he thought I was talking to him. My point is, for me, the reason I look at progression is because I'm thinking about it this way. I'm thinking, as long as you're progressing, which means you are building a team that is capable of winning things continuously, right? Because to do it first year, second year, third year, fourth year, and you keep going on the rise, that means once you start tasting that, as your words go, like if you start tasting that, let's say the next season we progress again and we win the Champions League or we win the league, for example.
Okay.
My logic then becomes now we've reached that level where we can expect this every single season, right? If we regress this season, which is what it looked like we're doing. And by the way, there's a very good chance that we might still end the season as a regressing season. We might, if we get knocked out in the next
That was
round.
my
to PSG.
but my question, but that was one of my questions was, with this season, let's say we get to the Champions League final, but we're on less points than last season. So have we regressed or have we progressed?
But that's why
you say you will contemplate.
I don't think you can classify
Exactly.
that as a progression or a regression. That's where this thing kind of gets confusing.
But that's sad. That's why it depends on what weight you put on more. If you say I don't know wherever we finish. Let's say we finish with 80 points, for example. I think the max we can get is 83, if I'm not wrong. Let's say we finish on 80. Let's say we lose a game, or not even 80. Let's say we finish on 79 or 78. So we lose 10 or 11 points from last season. Yeah. That is big regression, and I think that's a big problem, and that has to be held against Arteta. Yes, but going from a Champions League quarterfinal to a Champions League final, while also knocking out Real Madrid, the defending champions, on the way, that is massive progression. So the question now is, which one do you think is bigger? Do you think the progression we did in the Champions League is bigger than the regression we had in the league? Or do you think the regression we had in the league is bigger than the progression in the Champions League? That I understand. That I will say is subjective.
So I'll say the regression in the league is more dangerous than the progression than the progression that we done in the Champions League. The reason why is because this team has shown that they can be consistent, and even now with these whole injuries and this bullshit, we're still able to get to that position of staying second while going for the league. But regardless, if this team is regressing now, what makes you think that you're going to be able to
regressing in the league? Let's correct it.
So for me, I understand what you're saying in regards to what do you value more. Of course, if we're speaking about, it depends on what you think about the trophies. UCL is a knockout competition, but it's prestigious because you're playing against the very best of the very best. But then the league is competitive because it can be there can be an argument made for it that can be worth more or be more harder to win because you have to be consistent for 38 games. So
which is why I'm saying we are second. I'm not saying if we finish third in the league and reach Champions League final, it's irrelevant. Then of course it's done, because that's an even bigger regression in the league. Then I think the regression in the league now is bigger than us reaching a Champions League final. But we're talking about us finishing second.
For me, I don't even get this whole regression talk anymore and progression talk anymore. I was all up for that. When we started challenging,
my stance never changed, to be honest.
No, your stance never changed. 100%. Your stance never changed. But for me, just for anybody who wants my input on it or my thoughts on this whole thing, I was with the progression thing 100%. And last season, when we took City to the wire, and got to the quarterfinals and obviously got knocked out by Bayern Munich, which was unfortunate. I said that the only way we can progress from here on now, for me, is to win a trophy. This you've now had the time. You've had 3 years consistently to have a go at a trophy with this team performing at alarmingly high levels. They're performing at such a level where you should be winning a trophy. If you can't win a trophy within 3 years of your team performing like that, something is wrong. So that's the reasoning why
5 years.
But do you not think a manager that gets us to our first ever, second ever Champions League?
I don't count the first 2 years. I don't count.
First 2 years. First 2 years don't count. It's been 3 years. Yeah,
I'm talking about the 3 years that he's had
as a club stat. 5 years is a long time without a trophy. If you call yourself a big club, it's a long time without.
100% is without a trophy. Yes,
100%.
But that goes against my logic, because I wouldn't even have accepted a FA Cup or a League Cup.
Exactly.
I would have still sacked him.
Same.
I needed a major.
Because Sami, see the difference, right? You're saying the difference between what I'm saying and you're saying is, if Arteta won an FA Cup and League Cup this season, but let's say we got knocked out now by Real Madrid and we finished second in the league the way we're going to finish second, would you have said, okay, let's go one more year?
Yes.
That's what I disagree with you, because I think the cups are not a good barometer. Because because for me, it's
it's a trophy in your cabinet.
You spent it's BS. Because for me, all that money we spent and all the stuff we did was to win a Carabao Cup and League and FA Cup, then why the hell did we go through all that crap, all that pain, all the suffering for all those years to win
win a
Carabao
trophy.
Cups and no, to win the Champions League and Premier League. When we moved to the Emirates, they told us we're moving to the Emirates to compete with Real Madrid and Bayern. Real Madrid and Bayern compete for the leagues and Champions Leagues. The top stuff, where the best teams put in their best.
And the cups.
But the cups are secondary. I agree the cup is a trophy. But for me, it was not a good enough trophy to save his job. You get what I mean? Because for
at
me,
the end, when you compare yourself to any other club, you'll say how many trophies you have compared to how many trophies I have.
that's not the only metric. That's why I argued with you guys about Man City being a bigger club than us, because I look at accomplishments as well. For me, someone who has 20 FA Cups is not better than someone who has 7 Champions Leagues. It's not, right? Because the reality is, to win an FA Cup, there's way more fluke involved. Teams don't take it as seriously, unfortunately. Whether we like it or not, they don't take it as seriously. Sometimes they play their second teams. It's only one leg, which is home or away. So you could play at home if you're lucky and end up winning. 2014, we won the FA Cup, right? We were super lucky. Every single game was on our ground. And that season, we were horrendous away from home. We got slapped up 6-0 by Chelsea, got slapped up 6-3 by City, got slapped up 5-1 by Liverpool, got slapped up 3-0 by Everton. All these results away from home. So if we played one of these teams that we played in the FA Cup away from home, we would have lost.
Yeah, sure. No
so there is luck. Champions League is not the same.
Pep, when he came to this league and he became the coach of Manchester City, what is the first cups that he won?
Klopp, when he came to Liverpool, what was the first trophy he won?
Pep. I'm talking about Pep.
And I'm rebutting by Klopp. I know you're going to say League Cup, but it's irrelevant.
You want a dynasty. This is what you want, right? You want a dynasty. You want to feast all the years, right?
Correct. So Champions League and Premier League dynasty, yeah.
Yeah, sure, no problem. But before he got to that point, he started winning cups, FA Cups. He started winning the League Cups, and then he became sustainable in the league.
So you're saying to win the big one?
Eventually he won the Champions League, which is weird for Pep because he's supposed to win it more than one time, in my opinion. But what I'm saying is he drilled in the winning mentality in his team, and most importantly in the club systematically, so that
can I rebuttal that for you?
Yeah, sure.
There's so much evidence against that. For starters, I don't think City won I don't think City won all those trophies because they won the League Cup. The reality is actually that season that you're talking about, when they won the League Cup, they were winning the league by miles. That's a Centurion season. By that time, when they won the League Cup, right, they were already miles ahead of whoever was in second place. So they were winning. Even if they lost that League Cup final, they were going to win the league regardless. 2, one of the best managers in the last 10-15 years in the world and in the Premier League, Klopp, the first trophy he won was the Champions League. He kept progressing until he won the Champions League. 3, if what you're saying is true and winning those cups breeds winning mentality, how come Arsenal didn't win the league or the Champions League in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18? Because we won the FA Cup in 2014 and we challenged for the league. People forget that we challenged for the league that season. Because it was a 3-horse race in the end, we were in the title race until Feb. We were in like 5 points behind the leaders or 2. In fact, in January, we were top of the league. Right?
Look,
we won the FA. We won the. No.
I get Pep example because you wanted a dynasty. For me, I want somebody who will come now and win now. I don't want.
But that's my point. My point, Sammy, is winning these cups don't mean nothing for actually winning the leagues and Champions Leagues. Because when we won the FA Cup in 2014, we didn't challenge. When we won the FA Cup back to back in 2015, we didn't challenge. When we won the FA Cup 2 years later in 2017, we didn't challenge. In fact, we kept regressing in the league. United won the League Cup and reached a FA Cup final and had an amazing season where they finished 3rd. Next season finished 8th and regressed. And even though they won the FA Cup that season, this season they regressed even further. So winning cups has no relevance whatsoever with you winning the big guns, the Champions League and the Premier League. Which is why I'm saying, and that's why I find it weird people are saying standards. I'm saying how it's...
I understand what you want. Okay, I will ask you the simple question. We can move on to the prediction. The season that Ten Hag won the cup and we didn't win anything. He won
the League Cup or FA Cup?
He won the.
So last season,
Ten Hag when he won the cup, right?
No, because he's won 2 cups. He's won 2 cups. Which cup are you referring to?
Whatever you want, the FA Cup or the League Cup, regardless. And we didn't win anything. We were second. We were better team, whatever you want to call it. Which season was more successful, Man United or Arsenal?
Which season?
In your opinion, yeah.
I mean, which season had more trophies? United. Which season was better or more successful in my opinion? Arsenal's. I think we had the better season.
No. Listen to the question. Who had the more successful season, Man United?
In
or
my
Arsenal?
metric, Arsenal, and I'll tell you why. Very simple.
Okay,
Because
that's it. That's it. I don't want to argue with you.
no, no, no,
anymore.
no, 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 no.
That's
Sammy,
it, we're good,
Sammy,
we're
Sammy.
good.
Let me debunk your point. Ask any
No,
Liverpool fan, and
I'm not.
by the way,
Okay,
we did
okay.
this test. We actually did this test last time with LFC Aaron, because this
Okay.
was brought up by someone else. We asked Aaron, which was a more memorable season for you? Which was a better season, or more memorable season, or a season you found better or enjoyed for Liverpool? 2012 or 2014? He said 2014. But 2012 you won the League Cup. 2014 you won nothing. So the reality is this, and I'll tell you why I'm saying now our season, last season, was better than United winning the FA Cup. For starters, for 95% of the season, Sami, we enjoyed watching our club play. And I'm not saying that's the goal. I know that's not the ultimate goal, but that is part of the metric. You cannot convince me you're a fan of a football club just because you want to wait till the end of the season to see what happens. You also want to go through the journey. United, who won an FA Cup, by the way, and we won nothing, were crying the whole season. For 95% of the season, they hated watching their team play. They were switching off the TV half game. They were protesting. They were this. And even after the season ended and they won the FA Cup, they were still complaining when Eric Ten Hag got a renewed contract. Arsenal, on the other hand, are you telling me last season was a miserable season? It wasn't a miserable season. We had a fantastic season. So if you're telling me which one is more successful, what level are you asking about? From a board level, Arsenal season was better. From a players level, Arsenal season was better, because I guarantee our players felt they had a better season than United. Even I guarantee United's players themselves probably wish they were in Arsenal's boots. And from a fan level, there's no question our season was better. So in what level was United's season better than ours?
And the only metric that really matters, which is winning a trophy.
Okay, so that means you don't watch any game until the end of the season. Is that the case, Sami? You only switch on the TV towards the end of the
well, to win something, you need to. I mean, to win a trophy, you need to win. So I enjoy the wins, of course.
Yeah, but they won the FA Cup, but they finished 8th in the league. So you don't think us finishing second supersedes that? And challenging till the end.
If I end up with a trophy, I don't care where I end in the Premier League. If I win a trophy, let's say if I win a UCL, and then I'm I don't know, 6th in the league.
What if we're 10th in the league and we win the FA Cup and League Cup?
I would still enjoy it, of course.
Okay, there you go. Okay, yeah. No, definitely. Not enjoy the win. Would you say that's a successful season?
Absolutely.
Okay, there you go. That's the difference. I think that's because for me, how can I call a season successful when I failed in 90% of it? I failed in 90% of the season, but because I succeeded in 10% of it, that's a successful season? No, because I finished 10th in the league. I don't know. I disagree with that, to be honest.
Because my pockets are full with trophies. In the other case that you're giving me, I have an empty pocket. So of course,
but then if your pocket, yeah, but then by that logic, United fans, why are they miserable now? They have the most trophies of any club.
Because Man United, they have standards. They know where their club are, especially the United fans.
No, but they won it. No, but they won a trophy. Why? What standards? They won a trophy, yes, last season.
The standards of they want to win it all.
Win it all? But you just said, Sami, you'd be happy if you win the FA Cup and League Cup. Yes, they have won both in the last 2 seasons. Why are they miserable?
Arsenal are not Man United. This is where you need to understand. We're not at that level in terms of trophies, in terms of a big club as Man United. They set the barometer so high. They set their barometer so high, and that's why most of their fans are not happy, which I understand also. But compared to us as an Arsenal club, yes, it would make a difference for me.
So then let me ask you this, Sami. If United, and I'll just say this and I'll end it. If United, Wallahi, I'll end it on this. If United challenge for the league for the next 2 seasons, challenge, and they finish with 87, 88, 90 points, they don't win it, but they challenge the next 2 seasons. Do you think their fans will be happier with those seasons or the last 2 seasons?
No, sorry, could you repeat that?
If United for the next 2, so last 2 seasons, they won 1 League Cup, 1 FA Cup, right?
Okay.
For the next 2 seasons, let's assume they win nothing, but they challenge for the league till the very end. They play amazing football, and they finish next season with 90 points, and the season after that with like 88 or 89, but they don't win the league. But they're back to competing for the league. Do you think they'll be happier with that or the last 2 seasons?
If I was a Man United fan, and you're asking me if I
No. Based on what you know about... No, because you did speak on their behalf when you said they have standards. So if you spoke about their behalf there, okay. So those United fans that they have standards those United fans that you said have standards, do you think they'll be happier with the next 2 years if what I said happens, or the last 2 years?
Well, if they were like me, then yes, they would enjoy the last 2 years because they had.
I promise you,
If you want to look,
let's do a poll and
if you
ask
wanna watch,
10 United fans what
if you
would
want to
they
watch,
say.
if
I
you want to watch
guarantee you.
for the sake of fun and that stuff, that's fine. That's
No,
you.
no, it's not fun.
Okay,
I'm saying there's an end goal. There's an end goal, but my end goal is dynasty, which can only be done through sustained build-up. What you're saying is okay. So basically, you are okay with what Chelsea had. Let's say they build a good team, they win a Champions League in 2021, which is amazing, but then they go through 6-7 years of crap. I'm not okay with that. I want us to continuously stay at the top and have what United and City had. And the only way to do that, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but the only way to do that, in my opinion, is through progression.
No, every season I want to go in and win everything. I'm not the type of saying, no, I want to only watch because I want to, the
Yeah, so to win everything, you need to have progression.
Yes.
It doesn't come from 0 to 100 out of nowhere.
What do you mean 0 to 100? No. What about slot, man?
For example, the two teams that have had the best dynasty, like City and United, it didn't come out of nowhere. It took 7 years for United to build that progression. I'm not saying we should wait 7 years. I'm just giving an example. And it took City. When did they win the Champions League? Honestly, I don't even remember.
This is where I'm going to go to Saad's point, where he said, yes, I was with the progression, but now I see that, okay, that's it. You had your time, you had your assets, you had everything that you wanted, and you failed to deliver.
So that means you were never with the progression. Okay, not you, meaning Saad. That means Saad was never with the progression, because progression.
No, we were. That's the thing. But you have to say at a certain point, that's it. We gave you the time, we gave you the money, we gave you the players you wanted, and you failed to deliver. That's it.
Yeah, so that means you were not for progression. You were for something has to be delivered within a certain time period. That's not progression. That's a deadline.
Yes,
which is okay. Which is also okay, by the way. I'm not.
Yes.
Everyone has their own metric, which is completely fine.
Yes.
So that means you were not for progression. You were for a deadline that has to be met.
Yes.
Which is also okay.
Yes.
Yeah, fair. So it's not progression.
Yes.
Because progression means as long as the team is going up, you are backing them, or you're not backing. We're backing them regardless of what happens. As long as the team is going up, you are okay to continue. But what you and Saad are saying, which is also I understand, I get that point, is we don't care about progression. We care about this is the deadline. Before this deadline, win something. Once this deadline reaches, which is also fair, I agree. But for me, I just look at it in a different way. I'm not saying what you guys are saying is wrong.
I'll give you 10 years to build up your team to win a trophy.
But progression, the way it goes, it does not take 10 years for you to win, right? Because as I told you, what is progression from this year's Champions League next season? It's winning it. Anything less than that is not progression. What is progression from finishing second?
So you want to progress until when? Until when you want to progress?
Again, for me, logically, if he reaches the Champions League final, I think next season would be the last season. But if he gets a Champions League final, but I will change my stance if he doesn't.
But you keep listen. I'm just gonna
keep moving the post, man.
And then
keep moving the goal.
I never did, and Saad has been streaming with me for more than a year, and he knows that.
The problem with this progression thing, for me, is that you can keep on saying progression. You can keep on going. You can go from the Champions League to yes, Champions League, and that's the end of the progression for that. But then with the league, it's completely different. You can go, imagine if we get like 92 points now, but he doesn't win the league. Progression, point space. Yeah?
No, give me an example of what could happen next season without him winning a trophy that would be considered progression. Give me an example. What could happen next season without him winning a trophy that
gets to another Champions League final and he gets 92 points? But doesn't win the doesn't win the Premier League. That's progression.
If that crazy scenario happens,
if that crazy, let's just say that crazy scenario.
Yeah, you're
happens,
right. You're right.
Progression.
So you'll give him another year.
So
yes, because that means because that means he's done a mental job. That means he's done such a good job that if I get I always wait. Remember when Souls asked me this, right? Souls said, why would you sack Arteta, even if we regress this season? Why would you sack Arteta when the new manager that comes in could be worse and takes us 2-3 steps backwards? And remember what I told him? I told him, because I'm playing the probability game. For me, if a manager regresses us, right, now, unfortunately, because he's regressed us, I think we're going to continue regressing. Because I don't think a team goes up like this, regresses, and then comes back up again. So if he regresses us, I'd rather take the risk of getting a new manager who, yes, could take us a step backward, but there's a chance he could win us something.
Yes,
exactly. Correct. Or he could win us. Yes. But with Arteta, if it's progression, now my options are, do I stick with a manager who's most likely going to keep progressing us, which means we're going to eventually win something? Or do I take the risk of a manager who might win us something or might take us backwards? In the case, if Arteta regresses us this season, I'm willing to take that risk. Why? Because with Arteta now, I know that now that he's regressed overall, I know for sure he's going to keep going backwards. Because you don't go up like this and then fall and then start coming back up again. You don't. Because the fans also will not back that up. But if he keeps progressing us, I have to choose which one between the two makes more sense for me. Do you get what I mean? So in this scenario, if he regresses us, I will take the risk on a new manager, because now I'm like, actually, that risk of a new manager winning us a trophy.
And you're assuming the players will keep stay patient throughout this whole process of progression.
The funny thing is, and this is what I don't like actually, even if Arteta regresses us this season, I actually wish the players turn against him. But unfortunately, whether I like it or not, maybe it's a good thing, maybe I shouldn't say it's a bad thing, the players are too damn loyal to him. They back him. They like him. Whatever the reason is, maybe they see something in him that we don't see. I'm telling you guys, if we regress this season, I wish the players turn on him, because that's the fastest way to get a manager out. If the ownership sees that the Saka, Odegaard, all these guys are not with him anymore, the way Chelsea's players turned on Mourinho, the way Leicester City players turned on Ranieri next season, the owners will immediately sack him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the players love him for whatever reason it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, listen, can we get to the prediction?
Yeah, sure, man.
Oh, sorry, I'll just end. Wallahi, I'll just on this. Thank you, Marco. I want to add this point as well. I have said, because he's saying caveat to Ash. Sorry, why is my mouse not working? He said caveat to Ash. If you already had trophies, you can regress and then come back up. Not the case with Arteta, which again makes it a consistent logic. And this is what I said yesterday as well on the show. I disagreed with Liverpool fans who wanted Klopp out 2 seasons ago when he finished 5th. Because I said, the only exception I have to you regressing, and I'll stick with you, is credit in the bank. If you regress once, but you have credit in the bank, I'm okay with that. You can go again. Arteta does not have credit in the bank for me to have even one single regression, right? So you either keep progressing or get the hell out. If Arteta wins the Champions League this season, and next season he has a horrendous season, I won't say sack him. I'll say, you know what? You've got credit in the bank with that Champions League. But that's it. That's that one season. Let's go again. You better now progress as and win something. Or
in this part, I agree.
Yeah, there you go. So that's the only difference. But in this scenario,
if he wins the Champions League, yes, I agree. We give him another season. I agree. But he doesn't have that credit.
No, that's not what he's saying, bro. That's not what.
That's not what I said. No.
He means get to the Champions League. He said get to the final.
Final? No, man, fuck
that. He means get to the final.
No. I'm saying, guys,
what's at me?
No, I'm saying, no. What I'm saying is, if Arteta progresses us, that's the only time I'll say go again. But if Arteta has if Arteta regresses us even one season, and he doesn't have a Premier League or Champions League in his cabinet, I would not give him one more year. But when Klopp regressed Liverpool in 22-23 and they finished 5th, I was actually telling Liverpool fans, you should back him, even though I know you've regressed. But he has credit in the bank. So Marco's saying, my only caveat to regressing and still sticking with you is if you have credit in the bank. Arteta doesn't have credit in the bank, which is why if he regresses this season, I will not back him. I'll say he needs to go, regardless of the beautiful things he's done, Madrid and blah blah. I don't care.
Okay. Can we go to the predictions?
Go to the please. Sad.
Let's go to predictions. Oh yeah, it's me. I forgot. Yeah, Sad. You need to be doing the predictions at some point, bro.
No.
I gave you access to the sheet. You're admin there.
Yeah. Hold on a minute.
You absolute fraud. The least you can do for losing every week.
You're tech savvy, bro. Do you know what I mean? Big up to you, man.
I'm not tech savvy, bro. I don't know if I'm tech savvy,
guys.
Although I do use AI for a living every day, to be honest. But
yeah, brother. Listen, Excel, bro. That's your thing, bro. That's your thing, Excel, bro.
No. Sad and Ash predictions. Honestly, I didn't even fill up the score, so you guys have to help me fill it up now. Aston Villa 2-1. Brentford boring ass 0-0. Crystal Palace and Brighton was 2-1, right?
Let me go to it, man. What was the game that you just asked?
Crystal Palace and Brighton was 2-1, I remember.
2-1, yeah.
Though Sad got 3 points there, damn. Shit. Everton Arsenal was 1-1. Fulham Liverpool was 3-2. Big up Fulham. Ipswich and Wolves was 1-2 for Wolves. Leicester City and Newcastle was 3-0 for Newcastle. United and City was 0-0. The most boring game I've watched. Spurs and Southampton was 3-1. 3-1. And West Ham and Bournemouth was...
West Ham and
I can't
Bournemouth.
remember. 2-2.
West Ham and Bournemouth was 2-2. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's check what happened with the score. So first of all, let me zoom because I know the fraud will be like, I can't see anything.
I couldn't see nothing, bro.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit just so I can see everyone else's thing.
Can I see the previous round? I didn't attend the previous round, so okay. Who won it?
The previous round was I didn't obviously attend. It was Sami had 10. Yeah, Sami, you won. You won.
Ah.
Yeah, you won because T had 7, Souls had 7, and Saad had 6. Saad had 6.
Why are you repeating it, you piece of shit, bro? Just let's look
Saad
at
had
this
6,
week, bro.
Saad was at the bottom. Had 6.
Jesus up. Yeah, I swear this guy's
He only had 6. The fraud. Okay, Ashraf, Aston Villa Forest. I get 1 point. Saad gets 0. Sami wasn't there. Damn, T got 3, and Souls gets 0. I think I'm the only one who didn't get a single 3 this weekend. Brentford, Chelsea, I get a 1. Saad gets a 0. Sami wasn't there. T gets a 1, and Souls gets 0. Sorry. Oh shit! I put this as Souls and put this as TK, so I need to reverse this a little bit. Damn it. Okay, cool. So that means in this scenario,
Souls is 0
3.
and 3-1 for
yeah. Crystal Palace, Brighton. I said 1-1, so I get a 0. Saad gets 3. Sami is not there. Souls said 2-1 to Crystal. Wait. Oh, Souls also got 3 points. Holy crap. And what did T say? T said 1-1, so he gets a 0. Man, this naming convention is confusing me. I should have switched it all the way around. Everton, Arsenal. I think all of us got 0, right? Yeah. Fulham. Bro, not a single person predicted Fulham to win. I came close though. I said 2-2. Ipswich and Wolves. Did anyone predict Wolves? Bruh, T got 3 points as well. I think Souls also said. Yeah, Souls also got 3 points. Holy crap.
I got 1.
Saad gets 1 and I get 0. Stupid Ipswich. Leicester, Newcastle, I get a 1. Souls gets 1. Bro, I think Souls is on fire. He got a 3 and T got a 1 as well.
Hold on. Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, because it's this way. Sorry. Yeah. I need to fix it. I'll fix it next time. Man United, Man City. So Ostrov gets a 0. Saad 0.
Boring. Everybody
all
got
zeros. Yeah, it's the most boring game out there. I get a 1. Saad gets a 1. T gets a.
Oh my god!
1, and Souls gets another 3. Bruh. The thing is, I didn't do conditional formatting here, which is why it hasn't changed green. I'm gonna fix it.
I saw cooking, bro.
Bruh, Souls was cooking. It's crazy. West Ham, Bournemouth. I get a 1. Saad gets 0. Saad, bro, I'm just writing zeros for you, man.
Shut up, man.
He gets a 0. And Souls gets 1. Holy crap. Thank God he wasn't on the stream because he wouldn't stop talking, bro. He got 13 points, bro. I think that's a record.
He'd have been waffling.
For a single game week, I think that's a record, bro. Holy crap. Let's see who's at the bottom. I think it is me, to be honest, this weekend. I got a 5. Yeah, Souls gets a 6. Sorry, Saad gets 6. And T gets 9. So yeah, in first place, we have Souls with 13, which is an absolute record this season, by the way, for a single game week. It's absolutely mental. He gets 4 correct predictions. T in second place with 9, Saad in third place with 6, and Rusty Ashraf is unfortunately stuck with freaking 5. Cool. For this weekend, I think I need to make a strong comeback. I'm gonna start with 1 second.
Arsenal,
So-
Brentford.
Look, people are saying that we might rotate heavily and shit. I don't think we will. To be honest, I do think we'll beat Brentford. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say 3-1 Arsenal.
Fucker. I was gonna say that as well.
Okay, fine. I'll change it then. I'm gonna say 2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, I want to go 3-1.
2-0.
Sami. Bournemouth, Fulham. I'm gonna say. Okay, Saad, you start this time.
Bournemouth, Fulham. I'm gonna go with 2-1 for them. I don't know what that was, guys, so just don't question it.
Sami.
3-0 Fulham.
Oof. Away from home. I think Bournemouth win this? Maybe not win. I'd say 1-1. Okay, Brighton, Leicester. True Blue Clay says, well, that's a 0 for why True Blue Clay? What's your prediction? I'm curious. Brighton, Leicester City. Bro, I just don't rate Leicester City whatsoever. I think they get slapped up another 3-0. Oh, Sami was supposed to go first. My bad. Go ahead, Saad.
I'll go the next one.
I'm gonna go 2-0 Brighton.
2-0 Brighton. Sami?
Yeah, same 2-0 Brighton.
Cool. True Blue Clay 2-2. Bro, I don't think that's that crazy. 1-1 and 2-2 is not that far away. Sami, you go ahead. Chelsea, Ipswich.
2-0 Chelsea.
2-0 Chelsea. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with 1-0 Chelsea.
1-1.
Yeah, this is why Saad loses every week. Liverpool, West Ham, Saad.
Guys, remember this. 1-1 for Chelsea. Chelsea are not winning this weekend. Telling
Okay,
you.
cool.
Spooky. And I called the other game, by the way. Last time. when they
True
played
Blue
them.
Clay. True Blue Clay is saying the 0 was for Arsenal. He thinks Arsenal will draw 2-2, bruh. You know what? It depends on the lineup. Depends on the lineup, honestly. Yalla, Saad, Habibi. Liverpool, West Ham.
Yeah, okay, it's
Say
you.
West Ham.
It's
No,
you.
last one. Oh, okay, fine. I'll say.
Did the Ipswich Town Chelsea one.
Yeah. I'll
Okay.
say three. To be honest, Liverpool won the league. West Ham are not that great. I still think they struggle, so I'm going to say 2-1 Liverpool.
1-1.
Yeah, this is sad. It's mad. Sami?
Pure
2-2.
hope, bro. That one's
Sami, what the hell? Okay. Go ahead,
Man City,
Saad.
Crystal Palace. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 3-1 Man City.
Nah, man, that was mine as well. Yeah, me too. 3-1.
I'm going to say 2-0 Man City. Newcastle, Man United, Sami? Oof, that's a decent game.
I would say 1-1.
I'm going to go with 3-1 Newcastle.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Newcastle.
Yeah, you know what? I'll also say 2-1 Newcastle, actually.
That's.
By the way, huh?
I was gonna say that's
Sorry?
a bit more, that's closer to what I think will happen. I think it'll be a cagey.
Yeah.
Each score
Yeah,
one
exactly.
goal. I think Isak or somebody would just score a winner.
And that's the thing. I think when Newcastle score, and if they're leading with like 20, 30 minutes to go, they're not going to keep attacking. I think they slow down and just sit back. But cool. I'm going to start here. Forest, Everton. I think Forest should bounce back. I don't think Everton are that good, to be honest. We should have slapped them. I'm going to say 1-0 Forest.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 1-1 on this one.
2-1 Forest.
Southampton, Villa. Oh my
La
god,
hawla wala
Southampton's
quwwata illa
so
billah. Just
shit, bro.
Just put 3-0, bro.
I think they'll score, but I think Villa will get like. The thing is, Villa have a Champions League game as well, man. Are they gonna rest players?
I don't think so.
I'll say 3-1 Villa.
I'm gonna go also 3-1. Actually, I was gonna go 3-0, but for some reason Southampton always scoring games, bro. For some reason. I don't know what's going on there.
1-1.
Damn.
Wolves Spurs. Oh, this will be interesting.
2-1
Very
Wolves,
interesting.
man. 2-1 Wolves, bro. 2-1 Wolves.
Yeah.
2-1 Wolves, bro. These men are meaty, bro.
I was gonna say 2-1 as well, but now I'll change it because Saad predicted that. But anyways, go ahead. Go ahead, Sami.
Just say if you want 2-1, just say it.
I
Bro.
think it's
we
2-1
don't have to
for
pick one
Spurs.
score, bro. We don't have to pick one.
2-1
score.
what?
Pick 2-1.
Spurs.
La
Oh.
hawla wala quwwata illa billah. What is that, bro?
Yeah, I wanna say 2-1 as well, man. I'm just thinking
Spurs.
because I was gonna. No, I'm gonna say 2-1 to Wolves, but I'm just thinking, should I be different?
Why me and Ash never even like think about a win for Spurs?
No, Spurs. Are you mad? No chance. 0, bro. Away from home, they have a Europa League match coming up that they need to win away from home against Frankfurt. Bruh, that thought didn't cross my mind once. To be honest, not once did I even think they'll draw. Like, not once did I think, what if they get a draw? Nah, none of that, bro. Okay, I'll say 1-1. No. I'll say 2-1. Screw it. Cool. There you go, guys. Those are our predictions for this game week.
Yeah, listen, big up to everybody. Those are the predictions for the game week. Thank you very much for everybody for joining us on today. Is episodes of the Koora pod. Listen, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, people. I am gonna pass you guys over to, or actually, I'm gonna send you guys over to the. I'm gonna be on TJ's channel. Do you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go on TJ's channel now, or in about 4 minutes. So guys, go over there, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me just find it. Let me find it. Bear me a second, guys. Where is it? I'm kind of confused. Where is this?
I don't know, bro. You're asking me.
Brother, am I skunked? Or like, what's going on here, bro?
On that note, we need to win the Champions League, guys.
It's actually not
If
here.
if we win the Champions League,
Guys-
all of us will be united.
Yes.
Yeah, listen, guys, big up. The stream is not there, so just go over to TJ's channel and subscribe. Do you know what I mean? And like the video. We out of here, people. Peace out. Love to love.
Cheers.